BritainCon 2017 was incredible. Twice as many people attended than 2016. We had twice as many dev panels as 2016, one on design and one on technology, including the legendary Brian Chambers, fantastic prizes in our Arena Commander competition, and much more. But BritainCon 2018 is going to be even bigger. With more competitions, more competitors, and more prizes. More exhibitors showing off everything from fan-made costumes to the latest peripherals and hardware. A better livestream and a bigger Bar Citizen. With dev panels galore and arcade machines to play. Immerse yourself in Star Citizen for a day. Come to BritainCon 2018 on Saturday the 21st of April 2018 at the Radisson Blu, Manchester Airport. Follow the links to the BritainCon website below and reserve your place with tiered and standard tickets available now. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to meet your fellow citizens and the devs making our dreams come true. BritainCon 2018.
Hello and welcome guys to episode 4 of the Asylum. I am about to bring everybody in to the channel. So they should all be nice and quiet whilst we go live. Here we go. Here they are. Bring them all on. Dun, dun, dun. Ah, it works. Please tell me it works.
Yeah.
It's almost like a professional stream. Now can we just get a... Please tell me you're not muted. You better not be muted. Oh, HC's muted. Shit, hang on.
HC's muted.
Sorry, mute. Sorry.
Have you not marked him special?
I appreciate the efforts here.
Oh, it was so close to perfect. It was 90.
So
Good evening, everybody. It's the perfect changeover.
It was pretty good. Ah, welcome everybody to.
I think this is our thing now. Like, get that cursor off my head. No.
Oh God. Sorry.
Is we always start the stream off by saying that it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, but now it works. Yay! So how's the audio, guys? Everybody okay? Just want to make sure that we're good. Good.
Mac, you're like the worst troll because there's no way even you don't talk that long without saying anything.
Didn't work at all.
Like we were born yesterday.
Yeah.
No, it didn't work.
There he is. So
when you start going,
oh, I got that bloody. Why does it do that? I don't understand. Oh, I know what it's
we
doing.
can't hear Mac. There you go.
There we go. Tootenman. Thank you, sir. You fell for it.
Too early.
He just waited. He'd done like an hour of the show before as soon as somebody said it.
Yeah, he literally just doesn't talk for an hour, and he goes, "For fuck's sake, somebody say something."
Yeah, well,
I know, right? I got a couple bad jokes for Star Citizen related jokes. We can tell in the awkward silences.
Don't worry, but there won't be many.
Good luck getting awkward silence between these lot.
Good luck. But you never know; they might come up. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome episode 4 of the show. We have with us this evening Miserable G. We have Super Matt Brothers, aka partnered Super Matt Brothers. So what has happened?
Look at that tech.
Twitch. What? Twitch is finally.
I would just like to say on that front, like, I'm not claiming that we made him get partner from him being on this show, but we made him get partner from being on this show.
when I asked,
you don't have to
he said it was madness. Miz had nothing to do with it, but Madness was a big influence.
It was all me. Yeah. There was a lot. I had to do some horrible favors, which unfortunately am now permanently blackmailed. I am scarred now for life, Mac. Just so you know, so you owe me.
Checks in the post would be appreciated.
Because I love you, man.
No, huge congratulations to you, Mac. It's been far too long time coming.
Like they actually apologized, in the email saying sorry it's taken so long. There was an error.
Oh, that's so nice of them.
Yeah, no, I was like, I was thinking,
I have my money that you owe me.
And then I thought, now is this like a sort of an auto response to everyone that has got a partner now, or is it like specific to just me?
I don't know.
I think I genuinely think if you actually look at your numbers to have gone as long as in terms of ticking those boxes to be able to apply, you've gone the longest of anyone I've ever known in terms of I'm like, hang on a minute, this guy's like he's hitting these numbers and everything consistently for month after month after month. I mean, what more can you do?
It was pure bullshit, wasn't it? Just complete Twitch bullshit.
Yeah.
But
it's in the past. Yeah, exactly. You should have said and you can shove it with a shundo.
Through the door now, and I'm never playing Star Citizen again.
That's
we already said that in the first game. You said you were going to stream with something else.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we were like. Oh, there we go. He's got what he wants. He's off.
And sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, but our final guest.
And the final guest, the best guest, the most important guest, HC Vertigo. Welcome, sir.
Yeah.
New guests are always
bring in the American to the British.
America.
I don't have that's kind of disappointing. I don't have my gun set up, my gun rack set up.
Oh Jesus, yet. No gun.
You surely have a flag though, right?
You already had a gun last time.
Yeah, I remember watching that. No guns apparently.
No guns on the street, but no. Really,
what's the rules for bow and arrow? Am I allowed demos or not?
I don't know. I think it's to do with the Twitch is like very anti-gun, very anti. You're not no physical damage, so you're not physically allowed to hit yourself. By the way, in any shape or form.
Just in case you were intending to.
Yeah. Just in case you feel like you want to do it for money, because like some people, I don't ask me. It's like self-harm. They don't.
Running through doors and things.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
There goes my
prank stuff. I heard one guy got suspended for drinking too much too. That was self-harm.
Yeah.
I was getting shit faced on stream, and I'm like, I read about that. I should probably cut back just a little bit.
Yeah, you read it while he was pissed.
Do you know what? If I have the perfect answer. It's called Schlur. It's fantastic.
It's not the perfect answer.
Schlur.
For
staying on.
I'm just doing coffee right now. I'm just getting my day started. I got another 8-hour stream ahead of me.
Yeah, what time is it for you?
It's 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. right now.
It's just drinkable time.
It's 5:30 somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like my solution, like last drinking stream I did was I bought the cheapest gin I could find on the shelf, and it tasted like they ripped the entire juniper bush out of the ground, roots, dirt, leaves, branches, and everything, threw it into a wood chipper, and then bottled that. I could taste the wood. I was drowning that stuff in like Coke just to cover up the taste of the wood, the bark.
Wow. Yeah, I used to do that with my alcoholism. I used to just cover everything in Coke.
With my alcohol. Cover everything in alcohol.
I just covered everything in alcohol. That was the answer.
Yeah, he wasn't covering the alcohol in Coke. He was covering the Coke in alcohol.
pretty much, yeah. So no, but like I said, it's the best. It's great to have new people on. I love the fact that Star Citizen does still have new streamers coming on. Great ones. I've seen you stream a few times. I think you're great. I enjoy your content that you do. And so yeah, really great to have you on the show. It's always great to have people as well from around the world to give us a different perspective on the game and their experiences, especially if they've been playing it. I mean, how long have you been playing Star Citizen now?
Almost
how long
a year.
have you been streaming it? Almost a
year.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've been playing Star Citizen longer than a year, but yeah, streaming seriously on Twitch for almost a year now. But I was starting streaming on YouTube for just a little bit with like Overwatch. I burned myself out on Overwatch. Holy Christ!
Burning yourself out with Star Citizen.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think about streaming on YouTube compared?
I got the weirdest thing. Like people would always ask me on YouTube was, mind you, this was just when YouTube started doing streaming. Was everyone asked me, why are you streaming on YouTube? Why don't you stream on Twitch?
Yeah.
How is the dumbest thing that will always come up? So then I'm just then the apocalypse happened, and I'm like, well, I guess YouTube just doesn't like gamers because the Destiny YouTubers were getting demonetized left, right, and center, and they were just talking about guns. And I'm like, well, I guess nerd culture is more accepted over on Twitch, so let's go over there.
Yeah, I mean, and boobs as well. Boobs are very much accepted on
Oh,
Twitch.
yes.
All the boobs.
All the boobs.
All jobs.
I actually have
That's accepted.
Yeah, I actually had a gal send me a pic of her cleavage and told me to follow her on Twitch. Like I was doing a live announcement on Twitter.
And did you follow her?
Do
No.
you know what? Do you know what you need to do? The thing is, I must be doing something wrong because I keep getting men sending me dick pictures and asking me to follow them on Twitch. This seems to be the wrong. I seem to be getting the wrong one sent to me.
One of these days, Madness, you will follow me on Twitch.
I'm happy to.
One of these days.
To swap. We can swap contacts. It will be fine. I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, what's better than roses on your piano, tulips on your organ?
So it's been a huge week. I mean, to be fair, we shouldn't really be probably doing chit chat because my god, Star Citizen news this week has just been crazy. We ain't got time for chit chat. Straight down to business. We have so much to go over. Much to go over. It's unreal, absolutely unbelievable.
Ooh,
so
BritainCon in chat.
Oh yes, BritainCon hype.
Go for it,
Miz.
Can I get the link? Sorry, guys, for the talking point.
Document.
Oh, talking point.
Yeah, can I get the link too?
Fucking
Otherwise, I'm just going to tell my dumb jokes.
Otherwise,
okay, so no. Now you have to sit through all my dumb jokes.
No.
I heard a rumor that the M50 is going to get reclassified as a cargo ship because of how much ass it hauls.
There you go, guys. There you go.
There's
So-
no dumb joke.
Wow. I prefer the silence.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I would have laughed.
Why Madness sends those links. Before the stream, as you saw, there was a BritainCon advert. Since they're in chat now, I might as well plug it quickly. We'll plug it again at the end. For those of you who don't know about it, BritainCon is a fan-run event in Manchester in April the 21st. And myself and the partner down there, Mr. Mac, will be hosting the live stream on the day, but we would actually prefer you all to come to the event itself. So !BritainCon in chat. Should send you some links to go and buy tickets and stuff. If you buy the t-shirt tier, you also get one of these wonderful BritainCon t-shirts that you can wear at the event and look like just about everybody else in the room, which is cool. But there's dev panels there. You'll be able to see there's going to be competitions there, giveaways, you name it. Anything Star Citizen will be happening. There is a Bar Citizen afterwards. There is also a Bar Citizen the day before, and probably a Bar Citizen the day after. Why not? Let's just get drunk all the time.
Madness can't attend because he's got something apparently more important to do.
Madness decided to poke his wife and ruin it all.
No.
He doesn't want to give up his title as champ because he knows he's going to get beat. So
to be fair, you can't blame me because no man in his right mind is going to be thinking 9 months ahead of at the moment of conception of his child.
I do.
It's just not the one thing you're thinking of.
But Madness, they have video calling now. You can have a beer and a video call while she's giving birth, and it's just like being there. It is just like being there.
Why did you poke your wife? Exactly. You have one child. Surely that was a warning enough to just put a cap on it.
Mac, what would happen was it would be a video call. I would be watching her unpacking the house, signing a document that says divorce, and leaving my ass. That's what I would be lively watching.
But you would be a BritainCon. It would be worth it.
But in the absence of me going, so basically what I'm going to do is the money that I was going to pay potentially for a ticket and things like that to go up, I'm going to be doing giveaways. So we're going to be giving away ASYLUM goodies. So we'll give away some t-shirts, some good bits and bobs. So at least Miz. So if you do see Miz there, hopefully I am going to give him stuff to basically give away. So will be some stuff for people. So if you are going to BritainCon,
and you'll find me at the live streaming table.
Yes. And Miz will be there. So you'll find him at the live streaming table. Go and pester him and say, Madness sent you here for a free t-shirt. So yeah, there you go. We'll have to get a range of sizes. I'm thinking more on the large sizes of t-shirts probably for these events. I don't know what you think, guys, but I think I've seen most gamers and they tend to be not of the athletic type,
Yeah, XL tends to be very popular in our community.
XL does tend to be popular.
The website for the official CIG merch store. You'll see what sells the most.
Wait, I should ask. There should be something written on the BritainCon sign-in to tell us your measurements, size measurements, so that I can get the most, get the t-shirts. No lying. This is not a grinder. No lying, pretending.
Oh. That's it. It's when you lie about I'll say I'm a medium, and then you get there and you have a medium. It's like
exactly.
And you've got to wear it. Yeah. Why did I do
that? That
This?
was a mistake. I was meant to be a medium when I got there because I was going to do all the exercise that I
was a
didn't
medium
do.
at school.
Yeah, exactly. Lying to yourself. Don't do it. Right, okay, so
please do go and buy tickets. Come to the event, and also if you can't come to the event, feel free to come and donate because basically it's fan funded as well. So these tickets do go to the cost of fan funded.
Yeah.
This is getting very difficult with all these Fs.
Fan funded.
It's a fun fan funded factual day of funness.
And the Discord link to BritainCon's in the chat as well. So if you
fan funding funness. Fan funding funness.
We hope it'll be fun. What if it's not fun? Shit, have we ever thought
not fun.
Yeah.
It could be like another another interview with Chris Roberts.
Just yes or no, please.
Yes, please. Yes, Chris Roberts. Just say yes or no to this question.
Yes, you do. You do wish you could do that sometimes, but you know. But then at the same time, if it was a bit too dry, it would be. We'd all be like, "Oh, come on, a little bit more information." So you can never win. So just be yourself. Go, enjoy, come, watch it. BritainCon, it's great. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Do it.
BritainCon, it's great.
If you're doing it, it's brilliant. This week on the wonderful world of Star Citizen, I have on here in my notes. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about gold. Let's talk about 1K High Admirals. Let's talk about 2.5K Grand Admirals. 5K Space Marshals, 10K Wing Commanders, 15K Completionists, and 25K, God knows how you pronounce it, Legatus Navium.
Wingardium Leviosa. Is it Harry Potter towards the end? They ran out of names, so they just went into the Harry Potter dictionary.
What's that mean in brackets? Is that for you guys to...
Is that Caesar is the next one? 40K is Caesar, as far as I can tell. I mean, it's like Legatus Navium. Does anyone know what that actually means?
Latin.
Is that a Roman?
Google knows. I think Google may know.
Yeah. I don't want to. If anyone knows, just straight up without googling, you're a clever person. I know
Legatus is a rank in the Roman Navy, and Navium probably is like navigator or something.
Yeah.
Like lieutenant navigator or something.
No, completely wrong. It's high command.
High command.
It's kind of the same, similar. You had the right vein. In the right direction.
You sounded smart. I would have fallen for you. I would have gone.
Say with enough conviction.
Oh, so you're my
listen.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's not talk about. I've got enough of that. That's done. We don't need to talk about any more of that. Mistakes. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made.
We started talking about Grindr over there.
Mistakes.
You're like, I would have fallen for you.
Mistakes were made.
Anyways, money. Let's talk about money.
Let's talk about money. Let's talk about the money. Let's talk about. I want to see what you guys.
First of all, who's put 50 grand into the game so far?
1, 2, 3. Not it.
Who here is concierge?
I'm getting close. I'm at like 600.
Close. Okay, so I'm only about 100.
Donate 400.
I'm 100 away. So I'll probably do it in the next couple of months. I'll probably hit concierge in the next couple of months, I reckon.
I'm like 400 away or something.
I'm just trying to figure out what if there's like nothing else I really want. I mean, I got my little tiny fleet. I'm getting to the point where it's like I don't want to ruin my progression. I want to start out with like an Aurora or something one of these days and just kind of build up. Are you
serious, Kale? You put 52 grand into this game. Damn, son. If that's legit, or you just troll. If you try, I mean, you could put. Anyone could say anything. I could put $1,000 into this game right now. We wouldn't know.
But a typo.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Out of that 5 million,
I put £1.50. Put £5.50.
You know what you should do, Vertigo, is spend £400 worth on t-shirts and merchandise.
Minus 50. Okay.
And every time there's an event, you can stand outside. You can't sell more.
Dude, yeah. I would lose money on the shipping for those t-shirts.
That's true. I didn't really think that through, to be honest.
I think a lot of things could be said after a lot of things.
Yeah, madness. BritainCon. From now on, everyone will think
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay, we can do that. We can do it now.
We can figure it out. That's what every champion's going to be thinking. Right?
So,
okay, now we need to get someone pregnant.
Does the gift stuff count towards the total?
Sorry again.
Does the
Does
gifted stuff count? So if someone gifts you stuff, does that count towards that Admiral?
No,
For it.
No,
but that's
I
what
actually
streamers.
have-
We get. The thing is, as streamers, I don't know. I mean, about you guys, but because we do
Well, I'm about
giveaways, we get a little bit more of
950 quid
likely
off
to.
Yeah. I haven't spent that much on myself.
Mm.
That would be a bit ludicrous. No, most of it
I have.
is just for giveaways and things like that. You know, it's not
And subscriptions count. Your subs counts. Monthly subscription counts to it.
Yeah.
As well. So
What I want to know.
20,
I put £10 in for subs, and I want to know if I change that to the 20. I think I have to cancel that one, then start the 20. Do I lose all that progress?
That's a good question.
From-
Actually.
I sent a concierge message.
Oh, you spent.
and I-
Yeah, that's a good point.
Probably would have got more of a response on fucking.
What
Spectrum,
would
to be
you?
honest.
What would you lose when you say? But I agree with Miz. Like, if you say progress, what would you
What
actually
progress?
lose out on? What were you going to lose out of, though, by doing that?
What's
What
that?
would you be? What would be your loss?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a very good point. I haven't like always. I don't think things through. I just
You've asked if you can lose out on your progress, but you don't actually know what progress that you're wondering that you might lose out on.
yeah. It's I don't know.
Thanks.
It's a very good question. What progress will I miss out on? Because there's no progress to miss out on.
Yeah. So we've answered.
I
that
know.
question for
Isn't
you.
there like a 12-year?
So let me just answer this
Yes.
from concierge for you. No, you don't lose out on progress.
You don't
No.
lose out.
Vertigo makes a point. There's after 12 years,
12 months.
after 12 months, you get like a bone, like a
I thought you get your
Right,
name in the
okay.
game somewhere.
fucking
Right.
better be in
Something.
the game. I've got my face.
He's already.
in there, so
He's
don't put my
fucking
name
in
out,
the
like-
game. He's in the
Yeah,
game.
he's got his face in
there
the
you go.
Yeah.
There you
Doesn't
go.
need to have any more of him in the game. Jesus Christ. Next thing,
I think
they
Maybe they need like an they need a grinder app for your Moby Glass.
Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's what
I-
we.
If they see any of us that's been scanned so far, they'll just be like, nope, nope.
Swipe left.
Why are they all wearing this freaking condom on their heads? no,
I'm just thinking if they bring the face, you know, the whatever scanning, I could get confused with the condom, and then the fact that it's like meant to be like a head tracking thing. I might actually have my pants down by mistake and be like, are we scanning this head or are we scanning in this head? Because I'm happy to
Head
put this into
tracking.
the
There
game,
we
baby.
go.
Get that in the game, baby.
Watch the pendulum swing.
They'd be like, oh, I don't know, it's just too small. I'm afraid we won't be able to get the machine around it.
Going back to your thing, I think isn't it just
why we
a
missed
year's
Miz,
worth
we
of
missed
subscription?
Miz.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be linked in like consecutively, does it? I didn't think.
I don't think. I mean, they when I look at the actual, when I actually read, I sent the concierge before reading anything. I was like, oh, I wonder. Let me go and have a look. Oh, okay. There's slight part of the answer that I was looking for, but it says it did say that if you start the $20 one, make sure you cancel the $10 one. Otherwise, they'll both simultaneously run at the same time. And I thought, oh, $30 a month, they're worth it. But then I thought, no, that'd be stupid.
No, they're not.
No, I saw a second.
Yeah, wait, they're not worth it yet. So I think it's just a case of you start one, you cancel the other one. But like you say, you're not going to lose out on progress because there isn't really any progress to lose out.
I'm sure it's just 12 months worth of subscription. I don't think it has to be consecutive. So
No.
you can stop and then start again later on, as long as you've had, when it reaches the 12 months worth of subscription, it counts as having 12 months.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And to be fair, we spent way too much time on this section, which wasn't even a section.
Considering how much we got to talk about, yes.
Guys, let's move on past this one exactly. But my here's my thing. When I looked at this in terms of the goodies, so I'm going to bring up the goodies that you're going to get. I got pictures of them. So let's
You've
have a
got
look at what you
pictures?
get.
No way.
I got pictures. So.
Oh yeah, pictures and diagrams.
This is obviously comes from the
Oh,
concierge.
yeah.
So this gives you the RSR Venture suit, the Grand Admiral, the Golden Gun with attachments that we know don't work yet. So you just get the golden gun itself. We get the top hat, monocle, whatever that is, and then the golden
Someone
thing.
give me the top
See,
hat.
I've seen the top hat. I've seen the golden suit, also known as the bullseye on your back.
Yes. You get this. You get the size
target
one.
him. He'll have a lot of stuff.
I don't get this right. Okay, I'm serious. Unless this is like a hidden secret gun that's like incredible, you get a size 1 scatter gun from Apocalypse Arms. I'm like, now this is either going to be amazing, size 1, or I'm just like,
No, the scattergun is a new series of ballistic scatter guns they're adding to the game.
yeah.
So I
but
think it's just going to be a
25
reskin.
grand.
It's size 1, and then
I
you get a golden.
Personally,
FA.
I feel. I suppose this is what the discussion is. I feel that the rewards, especially towards the latter end of the spectrum, are extremely poor considering the amount of money that you're putting into the game.
I mean, it didn't.
Maybe
Just,
If you look at, like we said earlier, if you look at other Kickstarters, and it's something like if you spend, I don't know, you did Deliverance, Kingdom Come Deliverance, didn't you, or something, Mac? And they said something like, I don't know, if you get something like $1,000 in there, they start putting your name in the box and a thank you in the manual, and you'll have an NPC in the game.
I think if you spend like $125 or maybe a bit more, you get a fucking real sword.
Really? Well,
you get an actual sword that's like based on the
25 grand.
Yeah, 25 grand. I want a real ship.
Golden
None of this.
Yeah, 3D, full-on
ship.
3D printed fucking, a 3D fifth printed 450 quid bloody ship of your choice should be rocking on your doorstep. There's no question.
Get an actual gold spacesuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actual,
I mean,
why not?
And then, don't get me wrong. It's quite jazzy. It's fun. It's cool. The detail, yay. But this was quite cool. I like the undersuit. Actually, was pretty cool. The kind of gold undersuit is pretty nice. I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring it up a bit more.
It looks nice, cool. But like Vertigo says, it's kind of like you'll either be a target or you'll just look like a twat. And plus, if I take my weapons
or
both, yeah, I'll be like, I ain't taking that anywhere. That's going to be framed on a wall and never moving.
It's going to be on the headboard of my bed. So when I'm poking my wife, I'll have something to think about.
You can really look at the spacesuit.
That's going to be on your divorce settlement when she finds out how much you spent in the game.
You can be like, you'll be signing off. You can take that with you, love.
Yeah, but look, love, I got a gold spacesuit. It was worth it.
That's the question. Would you fight? Would you fight for it in the divorce settlement? Though that's my thing. Would you fight for the gold spacesuit? She'd be like, I'm taking the golden gun.
I understand rewarding people, and I just think those sort of rewards could be a lot lower down in the tiers of how much you spend on the game.
Like 20 quid.
I mean, right now,
well,
like it's
maybe not that low, but
the whole suit and the guns, like only these people have it, so it's exclusive.
Even at 10 grand, it's probably reasonably exclusive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the way I look at it is, I'm just we'll jump back into the other screen whilst I quickly bring it up. The way I was looking at it as well is I would be pissed off, right? Okay, if I have spent, just looking at it in terms of just numbers, in terms of what you get. At 1K, you get early access to buy-in, ticket events and sale items, including concierge, events, sales, priority customer service, concierge sub-form chat, in-game top hat, monocle, whiskey, and golden skin energy pistol. At 2.5, you get a golden skinned arrowhead rifle. So for 1,500 more, you get a golden gun, a gold one sniper rifle. For another £2,500, you then get a golden skinned RSI Venture suit and an undersuit. And then you get at 10K you get a Wing Commander, like an LTI FC Lightning, just the ship. And then at 15 grand you get a title. You just get a title. No, but I mean, you get a title. You get the title completionist title, from what I understand, and then for another 10 grand, you then get a gold version of the LTI FC Lightning, and then you get this Havoc Shotgun. So I'm just like, between 10K and 20. So for an additional 15K, you've got like one extra thing. And if you've spent 5 grand, you've only got a title.
Can I just read the brackets that you put on these notes?
Yeah. Yes. Short-changed.
What the fuck? Kids be starving. I could do with tickets to Citizen Cup.
Yes, there you go.
I like how you actually express yourself in your own notes. Like you're like,
I love it.
Sometimes when I do a script for YouTube, I put lol at the end just to remind myself to laugh because I found that section funny. And I think I shouldn't need to script myself. But no, I think the whole point of this isn't like we don't spend that much on the game for rewards. So rewards are just there as thank you so much. Here, have a gold weapon. I kind of like it because, as you say, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the fact it's exclusive. And I just think it's a nice touch. I've got the arrowhead now. I'm way off the spacesuit. So I don't intend on getting it, but if I get it, it won't be like I'm thinking, right, I'm going to now spend money to try and get that spacesuit. It'll be if I reach that for the actual assets I'm buying or whatever, then so it goes. It's just a reward. It's not something that is necessary because we back the game because the game's a reward, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to be fair, like some of the people I know who have gotten these titles, High Admiral, Grand Admiral, Space Marshal, they have more than their current value in ships that they have access to in their buyback queues. Like I have one group I play with regularly that has, if they were to do everything in their buyback queues, it would be another 13 grand US.
Wow. Yeah.
So they have access to multiple capital ships. So we also have to realize that whatever you pledged for is also on top of these numbers as well. So you're most likely going to have several limited edition ships or limited availability ships in there as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm definitely not saying I'm against them having these rewards. I think they're fine. They're good rewards. I just, if anything, I feel like they're a little stingy in what they're doing. They could be giving them a lower tier a lot earlier on for some of them, because it's still, because like I'm saying, how many people do you know that spend? Well, you obviously clearly know some people, but if you think of the numbers of how many people would spend 15k, 20k on it, like there's not going to be that many. So it'd still be quite exclusive, even if they lowered that a bit. I mean, I'm never going to hit it, so it's not bothering me. But
well, it's kind of like referrals, isn't it? People didn't like the fact that referrals were so unachievable, so they did say they're going to start slotting in rewards for earlier. Because the jump that when they did the first 10, it made sense. One, I think you got something.
And they just went stupid.
Yeah, one was like some guns. Two, I'm going through like the very early referral stages. One was like just a couple guns, and the second level was more guns, and then the third level is a free ship, a Gladius, I think, for like 10 referrals.
Yeah,
I got 2 free guns for going to CitizenCon.
Did you?
Well, you did. We all did that went to CitizenCon. We got 2 free guns, and that didn't cost me 25k, luckily. So
no, but it did cost quite a bit to go all the way to Frankfurt and back.
It did cost a fair amount, yeah. If I'd spent that in the game, then I would have had the top hat by now. Fuck it, why didn't I do that? CitizenCon, I could have had more ships and a top hat. Why did I go?
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I agree with what you're saying in terms of. I see both sides. I see the people that think, "Oh my God, what the hell?" I mean, I always get worried when I see these things because again, it's almost like brings out again the highlighting. It highlights the fact that Star Citizen gets so much money, and we're still so far from a finished game. You know what I mean? It's like I kind of get. That's my worry about it is that this constant press media of look, people are spending 40 grand and getting gold spacesuits.
Yeah, I mean they're not doing themselves in favors in that respect. It's like, oh God, look, now they're giving rewards for spending that much money. And I suppose in that terms, like if you look at any other game, and I suppose this is what I'm comparing it to, like other Kickstarters and things I've seen, there's nowhere where you're getting a 40k or a 25k reward, because people don't do that in other games. It's kind of crazy. The fact that they can make a reward tier for people that are spending that much in itself is a bit crazy.
Here's the thing about Kickstarter though. Kickstarters have end dates. Like if you want to make all the money in the world, like just remove the end date off your Kickstarter. If you have no finish date for your Kickstarter, then you're going to have a lot of people who just kind of keep throwing in, a little bit of this change every so often. They upgrade their pledge package over the years. And what I tell people, this is what I tell people on my stream, is you have to realize that when the first Wing Commander came out and people were playing it, people that were my age in the mid 30s or early 20s, that were playing the first Wing Commander games, they've grown up, they've graduated college, they're probably now doctors, engineers, lawyers, making disposable income, and a couple grand a month may be disposable for these people, and that's kind of like these high level tiers.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right there. There's people that I've spoken to over the years that don't even really play the game at the moment, but they were inspired by space, by the like you say, the people of our age now. Back then, they were inspired by Chris Roberts' earlier games. They were inspired by all the space movements that was happening in those days. And now they've been waiting for a game like this for years, and they have the credibility of Chris Roberts. They're happy to chuck money in. I mean, as a business model, it is fucking incredible. To be fair, to the fact that people are still spending money on this game. And it's those people that have the money there.
Yeah, it's a similar age spectrum that you see to a lot of these simulator type games as well, like Euro Truck Simulator and things like that. I mean, I think Euro Truck Simulator did because of the age group that backed it, and then they were buying these little download packs at £1 or £2 each time, and it's kept the game going on and on. And I think we've got a similar bracket of gamers that want to play those sort of style of games.
Well, if you Another thing I point out too, if you're talking about simulator games, you should look at that has a very odd demographic is like Train Simulator.
Yeah.
Like that, if you go look at all the DLC for that game, but then you compare it to like the physical model set for like trains, like model trains and whatnot, the prices actually kind of lock up if you're kind of work out. If you think about model trains as a hobby, the people that usually are into this kind of model train set, they're dropping $30-$40 on just like the engine for their little train. Never mind like miles of track they have in their basement or something like that.
It's true, definitely.
And the cells that they keep people in.
It's the gaming thing is definitely shifting more towards being acceptable to spend this money. I mean, there's still tons of people out there who go, you play games, you're a weird, it's for kids and things like that. But there's definitely a huge chunk now where that's becoming more acceptable. And they said, like you said, for us, especially us spending the money, this is like, it's a hobby. It's what we would do. Like I've just recently been starting D&D, and already I've bought 2 or 3 books, which is 80 quid, because they're like 30 quid each per book, then the software to use it. So yeah, it's so easy on a hobby to just drop that sort of money. And why should gaming be any different? Especially the amount of hours we spend in stuff. It doesn't really.
Well, it depends on the game. Like with Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, you buy the rule books, the monster manuals, and you can sit down with a couple friends and you can just make your own adventures over for years.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like watching.
We know it's crazy. It's like what we've been doing on D&D recently. It's insane.
It's like what's that series? Sorry, that the 80s series that everyone's sort of watched recently. Stranger Things, where they're all doing the Dungeons and Dragons and whatever. It's like what happens, and because I used to work in antiques, it's what happens is when you get to the demographic where the people of our age are now working full time, you'll see things from our youth coming into the shops because they realize that we now have the money, not us, me, but we as a demographic have the money. We can start buying things that remind us that are nostalgic. And then 10 years time, the next group, or, every year they keep doing that. They style it towards the people who are coming. I've forgotten the fucking point of the conversation, but this is relevant somewhere down the line from what we were talking about.
That has to do with popular media usually draws from the past, because in the 60s and 70s there was only like 3 TV stations, so it's easier to reach into the past and pull from that and then keep rehashing that. But these days generating entertainment and content is so easy. Everybody has a publisher in their hand, in the palm of their hand, on their phone. You can go to Twitter and you can post whatever the heck you want, whatever garbage falls out of your mind onto Twitter. Just anybody can make a YouTube video about the dumbest thing.
I know.
And you can have an audience.
You can do these things.
You can do these things. Everybody has a microphone and a camera. Everyone has a microphone and a camera and video editing software on their phone. They can make their own little videos. Everybody can live stream off their phone
in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. If you want to do it.
40 years ago, you used to have some serious clout and some money in order to get anything made.
Yeah. Well, this is it. That's why they're terrified, isn't it? But in terms of this topic, in terms of the money side of things, I think we pretty much kind of covered it, right? I think we can move on to the next question. Or next I say anything else. Yeah, go ahead.
The whole thing, though, is it kind of like they're nice little rewards, but they almost kind of remind me of like stretch goals, what they promised not to do any more of. So, I mean, they could throw like a little bit more gold skin, this and that in there, or whatever nice, pretty things to put in your hanger. I really don't care. The only thing I really care about is the F8C Lightning and the kind of that thing.
Okay. Well, as in like they weren't going to release it at all, and now they're releasing.
Well, they said they weren't going to sell it. And they also revealed on the reverse the verse that, if you get far enough in Squadron 42, you get it for free or something.
You get it for free at the end of the game. If you complete Squadron 42, you'll get it at the end, the C version.
Yeah.
That's what Chris Roberts said. But I mean,
at least he didn't lie this time.
But they said they wouldn't. They said they wouldn't sell it. I mean, I personally am disappointed that they're not giving us land. Is my view. I felt that they should have done. If they're talking about the Roman Empire, and I've said this before on the stream, that if they talk about the game being based on the Roman Empire and you're a Roman soldier, I've always felt that should be the reward when you finish. Maybe you get an FC Lightning and you get plot of land in Star Citizen, and
maybe that's your hanger. Maybe that's your hanger after Squadron 42.
I think what'll happen is when we can start building, they'll just give us a good sewer system that can run through all our land. That will be the more Roman influence that we get, I think.
The great Roman sewer system. Yeah, for sure.
What have they ever done for us? Those fucking Romans.
Oh God! But no, I hear. I actually. Do you know what? I suppose I did think about. There's one more thing. Was I was for the amount of money, and we're talking about skins and stuff, gold skins and stuff, and we discussed it brief earlier on the on my stream today. We were talking about the ability to custom, like at that certain price point. We feel like you should. I think that they should do like a Counter-Strike option where the gaming community, our community, can potentially make, distribute, and design basically skins for profit, for them to make a money, and CIG can make a cut of it, and we put the designs out there, and people can buy them. I'm all down for it, and people can make money off of the back. CIG makes money.
No, I don't know about that, because you start so if I pay 25 grand into this game, I can then make a skin and then sell it and potentially make that money.
No. It was just because we were talking about skins. It's the fact that they were doing gold skins exclusive. I was just feeling that, just generally, not
I think
if you put 25k,
allowing people that have spent that much money to submit their own skin to be used. Yeah, I don't think selling it on. Yeah.
Yeah, real skin.
Scrape it off.
No, not for. I'm not saying.
Well, they've already scanned your face, so I guess you can do that.
They've taken my skin.
They've taken your face already.
What did I sign? I think when it comes, briefly, obviously, I'm sure we're still digressing, and you said we shouldn't. But when it comes to
too late
skins and modding and things, I don't think they should ever sell them for real money, because you can see Steam did it, fucked it up. Fallout are now doing it. I don't agree with. I wouldn't pay for a mod.
Yeah, the creator studio. Yeah, it's gonna be real low effort kind of stuff.
It's whatever.
Horse armor.
Not feeling it.
Armor to be sold.
Because the horses fucking work great in all the Bethesda games.
But don't you? The review. We can save this for another time. We could do a deeper dive on it. But in my view on it, I'm creative, so I'm all for rewarding creative people and modding and all that stuff. So I'm just like, if they can get a little bit of money out of it, CIG make a little bit of money out of it, I don't see the problem. That's just my view on it.
I'm rather lukewarm on that. It can go two ways. You can go the Bethesda way, where you just get and then you go the Valve way, you get and then you can help people can turn it into a living. But yeah, I'm very vid on it.
To use custom skins, the whole selling of them. I have that enough in pay to play games, and I'd rather. This isn't that meant to be that sort of game, so I'd rather it's okay. They say, it's just cosmetic, but it's kind of annoying, especially when I played games like Elder Scrolls Online, and it's almost like they stopped making anything cosmetic unless it went in the cosmetic store that you then had to pay for money. So that anything that looks extra money for. It would be nice to just actually have those cosmetics. Why should we have to keep paying for stuff?
But if the game is being permanently in development now, unless they continue, if they do develop, this is again, we were talking about the ships. They are going to have to figure out ways to fund this through subscription, some sort of either subscriptions in the background where people offer a subscription. Because at the end of the day, they've said you don't have to subscribe, but if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe to get these extra rewards. So they're going to have to generate revenue. That's the reality of it.
They already have the microtransaction model already is in the game, Madness. You know that, right?
What, with the Voyager Direct store, or is it the...
No, if you go to the store right now, click on extras, and then you go down, you can actually buy actual UEC for real money. You can also buy hangar upgrades. You can also buy skins for right now. It's only the Aurora.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was in Voyager Direct. Is that somewhere else?
Nope, that's always has been in the store ever since the store has been founded. You go to the I'll send you a link if you don't know where it is, so you can look at it.
So I know, because you get Aurora skins, don't you? And is this where you can buy Grey Cat stuff?
But with
you can buy gift cards,
and you buy gift cards.
Yeah. Scroll down on the extra tab to United Earth credits. You can actually buy on my screen. I can buy 5,000 United Earth credits for $5. 10,000 for 10, and 20 for I've actually purchased two chunks of 20,000 a long time ago for $20 because I just wanted to give them a little $20 that month. Probably should have just subscribed instead.
Subscribed, yeah, but hey.
I think the difference is what is winning in the game.
No,
you can have a good. It's the difference is it's not like you play something like, let's say, PUBG PUBG. If that was paid to win and you got yourself like a loot crate where you had the best weapons, you would generally stand a better chance of winning. Now, yeah, you will stand a better chance of dogfighting if you have the best weapons, but not everyone wants the dogfight. So the difference is pay to win in a game like Star Citizen with such a vast open choice of things to do. It's not pay to win. It's pay to succeed. I don't really know.
Pay to skip usually.
Yeah, pay to skip. So those who can't play it 24 hours a day, it's
and also
those,
also they have said many times before that they plan to continue selling ship packages past release. So you can buy maybe whatever you can buy right now, the basic like the F7C, the Freelancer, the Cutlass Black, the Mustang, the Aurora. You can probably buy those packages to start playing. So that way you start with like a Cutlass in your hangar with like
so
6
people
months
who
insurance.
jump into the game who are like, I really want to just get to a good ship where I can actually earn some money. They can just pay the difference if they can afford it and they don't have to grind for it. And I agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's not going to be as such winning, is there? It's going to be okay because I could pay for the best fucking upgrades and I could go up against Madness or fucking anyone, to be fair, with a shitty ship and still get annihilated. You don't. It's a skill-based game. It's not like you range up.
Well,
yeah.
Let's not.
That's another can of worms, right?
I could talk here about torpedoes and missiles and pressing and holding, pressing aim, lock, fire, destroyed. But that would be another story. Okay, I think we shall move on to the next one, which is actually talking about aim, dotting, and firing. Is the piracy spark community outrage story that kind of just emerged. It emerged, and everyone just has gone completely.
No more pirates in the game. They've been banned.
Batshit. Oh my god!
Yeah. Everyone's just gone batshit over this, and I'm just going to read it out. I'm going to.
Oh my god! The ship is sinking. Oh my god! The band.
I'm going to pay this out. So if people don't know what we're talking about, at least they can kind of understand about what the topic of conversation is. So basically, this is my understanding of it. So basically, what happened was, a little time ago last year, pirating was a profession. Okay, so boarding ships, stealing them was a thing. Being able to scrub your personal ID, reputation, etc., your ship ID was stolen, was very expensive, but possible to spoof low-level security systems, etc. It kind of makes sense. The idea is that you could, do your ID and stuff. Then it was in a recent interview with Chris Roberts, he says that if you steal a ship, stolen ships that log out in places that insurance authorities are aware of, it will be lost, which again makes kind of sense with insurance companies. This is to do with them being in, jurisdiction of insurance companies and stuff. Okay, fair enough. But then a dev posted in Spectrum, this is where everything went batshit crazy, that stolen ships, no matter how well the theft, will not be a long-term thing. You get to enjoy them for the session, but you will lose those ships and will not be returning when you log back in. Stealing ships, that this should be a short-term goal, dual riding, piracy, or selling them for scrap, not for growing your old fleet. And everybody fucking threw everything out the bloody, out the bath, whatever, the cot, everything.
Out with the bathwater.
Yeah, everyone just fucking went batshit crazy.
Everybody lost their collective shit on Spectrum and Reddit. I was hoping to be able to keep on hold of the ships. Like, you couldn't berth them in a legit space. You had to hide them somewhere, blah, 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 blah. Or you had to have players repair them. But yeah, the fact that the ship's just going to disappear when you log out, man.
Then this is the thing is, I think though this is I've been reading a lot of different people's opinions, and I agree with this person. This is my kind of more measured. I'm disappointed. I think everyone needs to just cool your jets, calm down. The reality is we have 0% of game mechanics made for any of the current patches coming up. We need that first. Let's just calm down a little bit. The reality is this is all going to be on the back burner. It's good that we've reacted to a point and said, hey, we want more complicated piracy. We want it to be more like what you originally promised us. It's good to tell them. Maybe not overkill them, because what I don't want them to do is to start to just close up boards and say, well, fuck you. You guys just need to, we're going to do it our way, because then it becomes this kind of comes this conflict between us and them rather than a dialogue conversation. I want it to stay more fluid like that. So for me, it's like, everyone just cool your jets. They've got loads of other things to worry about. I don't think this is the final time we'll see. They're not. And also you have to understand, is this developer? He didn't even know some of the stuff. I think it was here. He was quoted when asked about spoofing on ships' IDs. He said that he had never even heard of it. So there's this, we've got people in different places. Miscommunication. I mean,
yes. And here's another thing I brought up on my stream when this was starting to happen. I point back to the Nova Tunk. Anybody remember that, the Q&A for that one? On the second Q&A, one of the questions was, how do we transport our Nova Tonks around the verse if there's no ship currently capable of transporting it? And the devs threw out, well, you can already spawn tanks at vehicles at land spawn terminals right now, and that's how blah, 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 blah. The question wasn't about what can you do with the ship now. The question was more about what can you do with the ship at past release. And I think that maybe this response is more for like 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, where they really don't have the ship stealing and insurance system, ironed out.
I think it was, someone did say, I think it might have been Disco Lander put on a tweet, if you actually read the rest of the quote, someone just quoting the top line said, if you actually read the rest of what the dev said, I think that's pretty much what it points to. This is the situation at the moment. It's not final and it's not finished.
Yeah, this is what we're
because we know now that is what happens now. If you steal a ship, you log off, that ship
it's
disappears.
gone. Yeah, the ship's gone. That's exactly what happens now in 3.0. I've
much
stolen plenty of ships. When I log off, and even if I park them on a landing pad somewhere and store that ship, even if the ship disappears out from underneath me because I parked it, at Levski or Grim Hex or Port Alsar, if it gets stored, it's gone. I don't have that ship anymore.
Yeah. No, it's it's early days. Just they'll have plans and they'll be creating
on the
things.
Thing, didn't they say something along the lines? Why would you need to move it? Because you can spawn it on the planet, and that's when everyone went crazy. It's like, well, I want to move my tank. It's like, yeah, I don't think that's what they meant. I'm sure that eventually we'll get a ship that can move it.
Well, we've already seen the Drake, whatever it's called. It's not been chosen.
Kraken, the Kraken, the pocket carrier.
Yeah,
everybody. And the Vulture. And all the rest
like they said, when it comes to ships, they say they look for what they need and then they create it. There is going to be more ships than what we have now coming in the future. It's just a case of what do we need when we need it, and if there's something that's needed to take things like tanks off the planet, then they will create it when the time comes. Right now, it's not necessary. We don't need enough tank.
Yeah, but this kind of kind of pushes more confusion in the community when they say, well, right now this is what we're doing, we have plans in the future, but they just kind of drop that in there and they're like, oh well,
this is the end. I mean, I'm gonna because I'm like to be fair on this. I'm gonna read out some of the people who were kind of saying why they don't want this to happen, because I think it's one thing to say call your jets, but then at the same time I want the voice of people who were saying it. So I'll read out a few things that people have said, and I agree with some of them. The reality of this is, if you do this system of just spawning, you are kind of completely eliminating the need of ships, or not completely eliminating, but you're making the point of things like having a prowler kind of a bit worthless. And I kind of agree with some of those things. If you just kind of, what's the point of sneaking onto a ship? Also, my main thing is like, what's the point then of opening FOIP communication with somebody when all you really want to do is blow them out of the sky, get their cargo, then salvage their spaceship? There's no longer going to be that potential communication there, because you're just like, fuck it, I'm just going to blow you up and I'm going to nick your ship, I'm going to salvage your ship, and that's it, because I don't need to do anything else. Whereas if I could open a dialogue communication with you, I could then do a deal. But there's no point. I'll just blow you up, which is kind of it lacks a little bit more of that depth that I was hoping for. So I agree with some of the things I think people are saying here. Yeah, it's just about salvage, really. It's just basically, what's the point? I can understand that people talking about abusing the system, but we've got a long way to go.
You can argue that about any system, though, like smuggling, piracy, any of that. If anyone exploits any system, it fucks it up. So of course we don't want ship stealing and it being exploited, and that's more the challenge, is to come up with a system that will allow the piracy without it being an exploit somehow. Yeah, especially now they added this insurance. That makes it a lot more complicated than they necessarily could have done, because now, like you said, people are like, well, you take my ship, I'll claim it as being stolen, which gives you a hell of a lot easier exploit thing. So basically they've got to think of a lot more into how they can stop that being abused.
Well, I mean, I'm always with the mindset that which someone said in chat, which I agree with you, is don't be afraid of letting people exploit early, because we can get a hold of it quickly and fix it quicker. If we leave it too long because we're afraid that people are going to exploit it, then we don't see them exploit it. We don't know how they're doing it. I'm all for that. I completely agree with you. But I'm also, in terms of for the if I was to do this, and I'm no game developer, just saying, for me, is I would do a situation where I can still steal your ship, but it becomes a stolen ship. So what that means is, it's got a red mark on my. When I see, you know, when you spawn your ships, you see green for ships you've bought, and you see red for ships you've stolen, and that has permanently got a stolen marker on it as such. So you can fly it around, but you can't necessarily fly it within a certain distance of like security. If you were to land on, say, like a UEE planet such as Hurston or whatever, you would get flagged, and they would scan the shit out of you, and then next thing you know is you would have a crime stat, and they'd come after you and take the ship off of you. My other thing is you can insure it with only Hex Insurance Company. You don't get the ship back if it's crashed or destroyed. You get a percentage of the value of the ship back rather than the whole ship back. That would be kind of my way of kind of looking at it. So, you know, it still gives you a reason to steal something. You still can get money back from it. I mean, I know there's ways of exploiting, but fuck it. I'm just like, figure something out because it's more enjoyable. Gives me a reason to want to steal people's ships. Kind of makes it a bit more interesting. That's my little bit. You can break it.
Now, Madness, have you actually read the insurance FAQ on the website? It pretty much lays out that scenario you pointed out, except you can't insure the stolen sheet. You can't insure it. I'll link it to you if you want to read it.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it before. Like, people would hope that you can insure it, but you maybe do it through obviously not the UEE version, but like insuring it through some form of like Grim Hex way.
That's what I mean.
Some shady dealer that will do it.
But like when you think about the real world, if you was a criminal and someone came to you and said, "Hi mate, I realise you're like on the other side of the law. Would you mind insuring this in case I lose it?"
Sure.
They'd be like, "Get the fuck out, motherfucker!" You know, that sort of.
Well, yes and no. You kind of maybe not insurance, but you would get some form of. You can like, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you could not have it insured.
That you have to owe, but I don't know.
You could say
a whole new level of like.
That's fine.
Is it proof of fire? Yeah, excellent.
I'm cool. I'm cool with it not being potentially insured. I mean, again, that would solve that whole problem. But I still think that the ship should come under as stolen. And if you get too close to a potentially security,
I agree with.
It stops you flying in certain parts of space. You can only fly that ship, and you can still build your fleet up. But then you might encourage you to want to buy a real version of the Cutlass because you've flown it and you're like, I really like this ship, but I really want to be able to fly to Hurston and do deals. So I'm going to earn this shipping game and buy it myself, but I'm still going to keep I'm going to go do combat in my pirate ship because I can go out to the dodgy areas of space.
Why do people steal cars? Either to sell them or to use them in other crimes, so they can't be traced. I agree. I think if you stole a ship, you should keep it, but you can't sell it through legitimate means. And if you are spotted if you are scanned, like you say, by a security force, they will find you. They'll track you down. Hopefully, that. I think
Anoni makes a good point in terms of like because they've mentioned now that the real money, the ships that you pay with real money, you will never lose. So even if your insurance runs out and you forget to insure it, you will still get that ship back, whether it'll be a long delay or whatever. So. That's probably what's partly causing an issue with this exploitation as well, because having ships that you pay. So if you own a ship that was, say, bought in game and someone steals it, then technically you could make it so that the ID gets changed. That ownership then transfers to somebody else, which is fine. But when it comes to a paid ship, you can't do that because that person needs to always have access to that paid ship, even if it's at a later date, which means that one then can either not be stolen, or how do you then have two of the same ship? And I think that's probably where they're getting some of this clash and issue.
Yeah, it's more of a game realism boundary.
And I think this was my curious, because I was thinking, you know, why they keep delaying telling us when they're going to be able to buy ships in game? Do you know what I mean? Like when we can buy ships with AUEC. Yeah. I think that honestly, like one of the reasons is possibly this whole complication of LTI, insurance, buying, selling, you know, exploit, and also what's going to happen if, you know, could you imagine, like, for example, if your ship was to be lost and you lost it permanently and you paid money with it, you know, think of the if there was a bug or a problem or something wrong with it, the claims and their desk would go crazy with people saying, I've lost my Cutlass, I've lost my Gladius or whatever, you know. Could you imagine the mess? So I think they really need to have all of that absolutely buttoned down, nailed 100%, probably before they even start giving us ships in game to buy with money. I was thinking about it the other day because I really want it, but I was thinking, oh my god, there's a lot of things they have to get right to get back to work.
By adding things like that, it makes everything a lot more complicated than it seems on the surface, I think.
Yeah, it's not as simple as, let's just give people permission to fucking buy shit. It affects everything, and that's like you say, that's what they're doing.
You can already buy ships in game though with requisition. I mean, I got a rented Caterpillar. I got a rented Cutlass Black. I'm flying around the Versin. I mean, not quite seeing the. In fact, if anything, I would say if you can buy ships with Alpha AUC, even if you couldn't insure them, even if it was just for the session, give them like people the ability to buy a Aurora MR or a Mustang Alpha. Just those two ships would probably help out just a little bit.
You can't wreck any ships and fly around the verse. You can fly in Arena Commander with the wrecked ships, but you can't run.
I have a Cutlass Black that disagrees with you.
Somehow. That's a loaner ship. That'll be because you bought an expensive big ship and you get a loaner ship as a compromise.
I already have an Andromeda though. I already have my Aquila.
How it works is because the Aquila, say for example, I've got an Aquila, but I get like an FC Hornet. And
it can't go in Arena Commander.
Because it can't go in, because it can't fly in Arena Commander, you get it as a loaner for the persistent universe. That's how that works.
So, I already have a Hornet though. I already have an F7C.
It doesn't matter. It will give you it as it will give it to you as a loaner. You cannot wreck. There is no way you cannot wreck ships with wreck money from Electronic Access and have it in the persistent universe. Please, if someone, you just can't. You can only get them from other ships.
I've heard that you can, and I think it might be a bug. I've heard other people say that they are doing so, but I don't think it's intended. I think that was only intended for Arena Commander, and it may have caused some interlocking. Because someone has said that to me before, and I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't just once that I've heard this.
You can use wreck.
Drew's saying you can as well.
I used to have an M52, but then they reset my account after I was crashing all those servers.
An M52?
Yeah, M50.
They've always said that you can.
Well, in 2.6,
lied to you.
It was like 2.5 when the persistent universe first came out. You can your rented ships would end up in the persistent universe, but then 2.6 came out and they like, we fixed that bug, which was unfortunate because I would have liked them to allow you to rent ships and use them in the verse because it expands the number of ships you can test.
I'm just going to say.
Do they count as your time used if you use them in the PU, or is it still only?
They wouldn't. They wouldn't.
So you have them forever.
It's a bug though. It's a bug though. How it's like how the PU
break down forever.
So it's not. My point is I mean, if it's a bug, that's not. The point is, it's not okay. You could, if you want to get technical, we can go. Yes, okay, you can do it. But in terms of if you're a new person, I'm not going to say to you, "Oh, go away and exploit this bug so you can get ships." And it's like It's
so what you're saying is one, it's hard to do, and two, it's not intentional.
Yeah, it's not an
so
intentional.
I thought it was just. Yeah, I thought it was just easy. Like, just go rent this one ship, and you'd have it show up in the persistent universe. Because I knew it was a bug, but I figured they decided to let that slide for this release or something.
Maybe. I mean, it would be kind of cool. It would be pretty cool. I mean, maybe they're trying some stuff. Who knows? I mean, I hear what you're saying. In theory, they enable us to have loaner ships. They enable us to have wreck potentially ships. Who's to say they couldn't do it? I mean. I've always said that I think they've got a game plan already planned out for it, but there is just these other things that I think could cause serious problems. And like I said, the press would just eat it up if people suddenly started losing ships that they paid real hard money for. It would be the worst. Probably like, could you imagine? Oh, no, I just don't want to think about it. It would be a disaster.
Well, they've already said they're not.
I just don't want to think about it.
And we know they're not. It would be a stupid system to have that, really.
Yeah,
you're talking about insurance, but that I'm just like ship purchases with Alpha UEC. If they can use, and they already have that with the rental system. Like you can, they already have a proven system with the rental system that can give you ships that you can use at one point in time. You can use them in the persistent universe, and then you can take them away and still have some of the similar rules.
I've always felt they should do that. They should do the kind of the way you wreck it. They should just give you it like that. Should be just the loaner ships in the game and stuff.
Do we think that they're like not really giving it to us because they for the money cost? Then is that what you're saying?
I honestly don't think so. I think it's a little more complicated to tie it in with the economy when they have such, because they want a full economy. It's not just as simple as adding stuff in, and obviously the rec system, everything is not as easy as it's not as easy as that. They need to have things that tie into the client, the server, and
servers,
then stealing,
the ship systems.
It's not as simple as just.
Well, I suppose that you're renting it, because your rec is renting it from external sources, isn't it, on the website?
Yeah, exactly. So they're likely just reworking the whole system to make it work as a whole entity with persistence and things.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it's a good conversation. It's interesting. This is why I like having a conversation about it, because, for as many times as I think I've kind of nailed something down, somebody comes back and says, no, this is this, you could do this. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And then someone says, yeah, but what about this and this? And you realize, okay, there's more. There's a constant growing and additions of potential issues, which is really, really interesting to talk about. So anyone else want to add anything about the piracy kind of conflict at all?
Yeah, I'll add one thing. My problem with not being able to keep stolen ships, some ships are going to be very hard to find in the verse. Like the Nox, no, not the Nox, the what's the scout ship, the Jean Scout. That's pretty much the only way you're going to get that damn thing is if you grind rep with the Jean or you steal one. Same with like some of the larger capital ships, the Javelin. How the hell are you going to get a Javelin in game unless you want to get your organization together and we're going to do like a World of Warcraft like raid on the UEE, and we're gonna have to kill everybody inside this Javelin. We're all going to be enemies with the UEE now.
Is that the Javelin or the Bengal?
The Bengal is going to be, you're going to find derelict ones, but I'm pretty sure you can attack if they're going to do. Now, here's the thing that was brought up to me on my stream recently: PvP, player versus player ship stealing. The ship's going to go away because of insurance problems, but player versus NPC ship stealing. They didn't touch on that. You may be able to kill everybody inside of an NPC-controlled Javelin, Idris, Bengal, and keep the ship permanently.
Yeah, that would definitely be different.
What it's like with the F8, that would make sense, because I would love, I'm not planning to be a pirate, but I'd love to be able to steal an F8 and keep it if I don't earn it. So how else would you own an F8 unless you were spending 20-odd grand on the game? If you steal it... What's the point in stealing anything if that's the case? If it's just going to disappear at the end of the day?
Yeah, essentially,
far too hard. Too hard to steal something if you're not going to gain from it.
Yeah, you'd want to keep it. It's like the first one you steal, keep it. The second one, you could steal 5 of them. You'd be like, well, I only want one.
So you just start blowing them up. That's what I'll do. I'd probably blow them up anyway. But you
I can imagine getting a couple orgs together and saying, okay, we're going to steal an entire intact Javelin from the UEE with full of military grade Vanguards and F8A Lightnings and F7A Hornets, and you pull off this giant high. So it's going to be a lot. You got EMP ships. You're going to disable it, blow out the engines. Exactly. It's going to be like I said, World of Warcraft level raid event. You're going to have 60 players working on this event.
That would be fun. I've tried to do similar things where we've done it on, just in 2.6 when you had the comma race, if you go there as public enemy, you spawn obviously the security and then your mate comes in and he spawns more security. I could imagine that could be a scenario where you going in as 60 people, but as they're sending in more and more people, they're sending more and more and more NPCs are coming to make sure you do not steal this shit. That would be, but I would love to see that. I think that would be game break. I could see the frames going.
It will be game break. Imagine all the if you on what's that main mission that has become a
brilliant idea,
Operation Pitchfork. If everyone suddenly starts stealing Vandal ships, you'd be like, I'm having that. I'll have that.
Yeah.
All the rare ships you can't get hold of.
That Operation Pitchfork idea is that's the same thing as what Vertigo is saying, but just for fighting the Vandal, right? To take back Vandal space for us as gamers, which I think is very brave. Judging on the picture that I saw recently. Hang on, where is it? I got it here. Hang on. Here we go. This is the picture I saw. I'll bring it up in stream. Yeah.
Time for that other joke.
There it is. This bad boy here.
That is actually a live footage of the gameplay. It's just it's one frame per second.
So that's exactly
a PowerPoint presentation.
It's already begun. The fight's begun.
Is that yellow?
That's Test Squadron right there. All that wreckage you see is Test Squadron, and they're Auroras.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my question to you: the ship in the middle. What do we think? Is this what do you think this ship is? The Vandal, the big one. What's the guess here,
probably
guys?
a driller. To the upper left is a driller, and the center one looks like a king ship.
Okay, so I think this could be the Hunter ship in the middle.
Could be. Honestly, the lower right looks like a Void Bomber.
Yeah, and then this one here, I'm like, what the is this? But here's the interesting thing. There's a ship in this corner over here that makes no sense to me. When you see the positioning of the engines, and then the way that
4. Yeah,
it's
like
got
across
3 going across. Yeah, and then but it's on an angle like this. It's more like it's almost like vertical. It doesn't make any sense to any of the other ships. I was looking at the other day and I was going, is that on its side? But then there's 3 engines. I'm seeing the lights. I can't zoom in anymore, unfortunately, because we're at maximum. But I was really interested in what this ship was. It could be nothing. It should be just an asteroid behind it's making it look a bit weird. It's possible, but that was interesting. And then, these ones over here, I was like, these ones here, you said these ones are the bombers, right?
No, lower right from the ship in the center.
This one
They're
here.
literally almost touching the big capital
Oh,
ship.
yeah, this bad boy here. Yeah, this one down here. Yeah.
Could be a hatchet or a tomahawk.
It's got a big engine in the center and then 4 smaller engines. Yeah, that looks like a void bomber.
Yeah, and these ones, are we thinking these ones are blades? Because it's dropping loads of bombs out the bottom of this. It's dropping loads of shit out the bottom of this at the moment here, if you can see down here. These is all drones or something are dropping out the bottom. That's why I think this is the Hunter. Because shit, tons of stuff's dropping out of it. Which looks freaking cool. I mean, it's freaking cool. When I saw this, I was like, damn, that's so cool.
You're right, what?
Damn, that's so cool.
Damn,
I'm thinking,
son.
if you look at the link, the tomahawk or the hatchet, you've got a similar shape with the
So this is
top
old. This is
and the
quite
bottom,
old, but yeah.
which so it could have been updated since into a bit more of an
This is
extreme
really
angle.
old. Yeah, this
This
really
is an
old.
old picture. This Immigrant
Yeah,
picture.
Yeah, so if you look at the tomahawk or the hunter, the lower down, they
Hunter's
have
quite
like
different
that
to this now.
protruding lower section. It could be that they've just changed the design and it's a bit more prominent.
Tomahawk heavy cargo. I mean, has anyone? No offense to you. Has anyone got like a slightly newer one? Because I know this is really quite old. Some of these.
We've seen the driller in a video recently.
Yeah, I saw. I've seen the flyover, and I know that's definitely the driller on the left, the top left. That's definitely the driller. There's no question in my mind that the one over here is the driller. That look for me that's got to be the driller.
I don't think we actually haven't seen. Oh, wait a minute! There was another video where we got to see. I think it was a king ship warp in, but that was maybe it was the driller. But yeah, the Vandal ships.
Olisar.
Yeah, that one.
If anyone's got any new pictures, please just chuck them in chat. Be free to chuck the links in. It's absolutely fine. If anyone, because better heads I definitely like to know some of them. I mean, we're not going to know all of the ships because I'm curious if this is the blade. You know, can we see in this picture? Are we seeing any glaives at all? Sides or
also that Vandal picture they was linked in chat by Super Mac Brothers. That doesn't even show the glaive in it.
Yeah, bit too old. But the kingship, obviously, they won't have gone too. I think the kingship, they pretty much. I think they designed the kingship, and then they kind of went, "Oh, we quite like this styling." And then I think they've reworked a lot of the ships around the kingship and the kind of the driller and stuff. And they've kind of
and don't forget a lot of those, especially the early scale one, is their concept. So they haven't even got into being made.
The point of it was that the shape of the ships. Yeah. Are in a similar style. I'm not expecting it to look identical.
I mean, I'm just still looks like the Idris today.
Madness trying to compare it. I'm just saying, realistically, they probably weren't made even back then when they'd done that sort of scale thing. It was more concept, so it's very difficult to try and work out what they are. Yeah, you can kind of guess, but.
Just a shout out for anyone that's follows and all the hosts and stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate your love. It's just we don't have alerts.
Follow coming behind my head.
You have a what behind your head?
Follow was coming behind my head.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Fox is getting me. Stop raiding me.
It was hosting. Oh, my bad. There shouldn't be an alert behind your head, but never mind. Oh yes, it is behind your head. There you go.
Still a work in progress.
That's why this chuckle is in the top corner.
We've not done this before.
No, only
our first podcast.
A year later, still our first podcast.
Jesus. Okay, so then the next thing I wanted to talk about, we may as well talk about it, is the roadmap. Big news. The roadmap came out. We got to see this year's
next little thing to talk about.
Roadmap. This is the little thing. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. That is the roadmap. Now this is I mean, this is a pretty big deal, really. I mean, I don't know if you guys have you guys seen the Google Graph version? Have you seen the graph version where someone's broken it down? The Google Graph version. The graph version.
Last year, back before they started doing burn down, yes, I saw that one, and everything slipped on that one. All the numbers were off.
Well, that one with the multicolored different lines. I
remember that
really
one.
Hard to follow and understand.
So here's the new one. This is
2018
the new one I've seen.
Banu Merchantman Karak.
Exactly.
So this breaks it down quite. This actually breaks it down really interesting. And this was one of my. I found this initially. I was like, oh my god, this is Excel. I hate it. But what I found really interesting is it shows you what amount already has actually been done. And if you take a note, the only patch that hasn't had anything kind of worked on is 3.4, which I would expect because it's quite a long way away.
Kind of makes sense.
End of the year.
Yeah, but if you actually look at it from 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, the one thing that maintains the same amount, roughly the same or a bit more, of actually being worked on is ships. The money is the one thing, in my opinion. I mean, if you were to look at it in a very kind of cold way, the way I look at it is nearly 8% of the things that have been advanced on or worked on earlier on is the spaceships. Now, I'm curious. I'm always curious about why they haven't worked on gameplay mechanics in 3.3
because they're
and
more
3.2.
complicated than ships. Ships have a
Still at
pipeline
zero.
already designed now, so
Yeah.
just to throw out a ship takes no time at all anymore.
The single seat fighters take almost no time. Like from concept to actually being in game, the single seat stuff is so easy to do. Also, keep in mind that the people that are working on the ships is not the same people working on the network code or the engine code.
Well, this is what it comes back to.
And it's
again,
not as complicated in any means.
No, but that's my point is it's more difficult. So surely they should be working on it.
The thing is, I don't
more in advance. So there should be more of a percentage of it kind of being worked on.
They're going to
roadmap.
start when they start. They can't really.
But I'm not sure that's correct anyway, because Brian said a while back that they were aiming to get, say, mining on this one. They were aiming to get mining in the game for 3.0. Now, obviously, he said, it was no way it was going to be ready enough, and that's why it's not in there. But that on this sheet that you've got here, it's got mining 0 tasks complete, but it hasn't even got any tasks, which I find that hard to believe. If they were working to get it out in 3.0, it must have some work on it, even if it's not had any task complete. Surely it would have some tasks assigned to it. It's almost like they haven't bothered filling that out.
I'm thinking
there's far too many zeros on there.
All I can think is 3.1 is just purely for optimizing. Technically we've got ships and things, but whereas 3.2 is the specific patch for mechanics. So maybe they just thought, well, we won't bring it out on 3.1 because we'll optimize with that patch, and then 3.2 is when we'll just chuck all the mechanics out in one go. I wonder if that's maybe it is ready. It will if they were thinking of putting out for 3.0, and then thought, well, I can't do it. 3.1 optimizing, so we won't put it in that one. We'll chuck it in with the rest. Logically, it makes sense, but obviously, my personal opinion is if it's ready, throw it out. Let us test it. Let us play with it. Get to grips with it. But they must have a plan somewhere.
I mean, if you actually look at it in terms of mining's coming in 3.2, and according to this, I mean, again, I'm not using this as complete as a Bible, but I'm just using it. This person's obviously drawn this information from the roadmap and the information he's perhaps gathered. I guess there probably is a lot of stuff we don't know about, and I understand that we're not making the game, but it's meant to be open development, so we should know a bit. And we do. It's just the fact that mining 3.2 on here, 0%, and I was like,
I don't.
How can that be right? They talked about mining beforehand, surely.
No,
surely
I
that's
just
incorrect.
think because it's the new website, the new roadmap. It's probably just not even been filled in fully. So they've gone in with statistics that they actually know, which is probably the ship status. Because don't forget, they've been doing the ship shape, and Jarad's been having the big thing behind him saying this is the progress so far and everything else. So they've concentrated a lot on the ship, so they probably have that data. I think the fact that all the others say 0 on them, I don't believe. I think it's just misrepresentation. So, they maybe don't have the stats to hand to give to the person that's putting it up on the website.
So here's my thing is, we have that pipeline. Sorry, did we have that pipeline behind you just described it for ships? Do we have a similar one for game mechanics? Could we get one, please, CIG? I would like to see one. It would be kind of cool to see.
Didn't they say they were going to be doing something like that? I'm sure I read somewhere with the new website they were going to be doing some form of pipeline for other mechanics. I can't remember where I've read that or heard it or saw it, but I'm sure there was something.
I would, for me personally, I mean, ships are all cool and I love ships, but I also love gameplay, and I'm at the point now, I think a lot of players as well, where I've got my ships that I'm going to enjoy the game to start with. I want to play the game. I want to get the gameplay, and that's
I want
to.
Yeah, gameplay. Me too. I want to start seeing the gameplay kind of get tightened up. So I can
that'll
actually
be the biggest sort of game changer is having other things other than shitty cargo mechanic and combat. Yeah, so that's when the game will start becoming what the game is supposed to be. Is when we actually have options to do other sort of career choices. They're on. Go on, sorry.
But going back to what Madness talked about in the 0 out of 0 for the mining process, I've worked in kind of like the production side of stuff before as a mechanic, mind you, just as a mechanic. And sometimes it's very hard to kind of schedule out further in the year, like how long something's going to take if you've never done it before. So if you have just kind of like a general idea of what mining is going to be, mining might right now may be very fluid, like the idea of scanning for minerals. How is that scanning going to look? How do we report that on our whatever their system? I can't remember the name of the system they use internally that they're going to use to work with the website. Jira, yeah, Jira. Like how that's going to work with this. Yeah, how that's going to work with this. How do you report? Like we don't know what the UI is going to look like. How do you report that? Or maybe there's, like I said, they're still working on the mechanics, so they. This is still just a roadmap. This is just we'd like to have, and I'm telling everybody, like, don't expect to have whatever they say is on this roadmap to be for 3.1. Stuff will slide into the next patch.
Well, they already. I mean, that's what Chris said. Basically, it's going to be released on a certain date, and what's ready will be ready, and what's not will go on to the next one. So that's definitely not there.
It's again, like they said before. It's mainly, I expect, internal goals because everyone works better with an internal goal. This is obviously just a point that they want to get to in that specific time frame. But like you say, things like you said to your stream, things will slip. It's inevitable. Things won't get complete, and they'll just be pushed back till the next patch. But the good thing is that original patch is not now being held up like it was before for a small thing that is not as important as the rest of the patch. So I think it's a good way of displaying it. It's a good way of working, and we should see more content this year than we've ever seen. But it would be nice to get more of an idea as to when things are coming when.
Yeah, as long as content is ships, skins, and weapons, you'll
definitely get more. Yeah,
you're definitely gonna get more this year.
I know. That's the thing. That's my not want. I don't want to be at the end of 2018 going, oh well, 2019 is going to be the year. I will not have any faith in saying anything if we do not have a good chunk of these game mechanics in play. I believe we will. Lord. I'm confident. I think
that's why we've lost a lot of numbers. I think that's why a lot of people now aren't tuning in as much as they used to. It's because they're just like, well, what's the point in waiting for 3.1? I just want to, they're gonna wait till March before they even start looking.
I mean, that's it. The problem is now is that roadmap isn't in some ways what a lot of people wanted. There's a lot less on there than we. I know they're going to update and add more, but like the progress doesn't seem to be as good. Like a whole another year before you're going to see female characters. Well, they've already
characters. Come on.
No, but hang on. They've already said that you could have female character in Squadron 42, right? So technically, if the female character is not going to be if the female character is not going to be done till the end of the year, that means we've got no Squadron 42 this year.
Well, that's a separate. I mean, I don't. I mean, it could be, but I don't know if that really ties in. You could be right, to be honest. And I didn't expect to see Squadron 42 till December anyway, at the very earliest.
Yeah, it could come with the drop of it. It could be December with the drop of it for that patch. Yeah, definitely.
We've been expecting Christmas for Squadron 42. That's my guess for Chris Roberts wants. He's pushing that Christmas release this year.
They tend to do a year's worth of advertising since. Although I was expecting to see like an announcement of a schedule for Squadron 42.
Did you sign up on the website to get the newsletter?
Hell yeah!
How was that first newsletter?
I don't think I've read it yet.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. They've had no problems in delaying Squadron 42 over the last 3-4 years. I can't see them having a problem doing it again.
And rightfully so. Everything, if it's not ready, it should be delayed.
So don't expect it this year. That's my tip for you all.
I'm with Miz on this one. I think if they're already kind of, I would like to see with the female characters be pushed forward. Maybe they could do. Maybe optimistically they could say they could bring it forward. And say, guess what, guys? We've nailed it. It's good. The girls are good to go. We're bringing them in 3.2. Woo!
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. They had in the vertical slice. They had Treyo, which was a female model from my understanding. Look, vaguely female to body.
That's very true, actually. Yeah,
close one eye, don't get too close.
They just like meld it on and stick it on another skeleton. That's what they said. It's not.
It's like that.
Not a female body. The body's
It's
made,
not
but it
the-
doesn't. It's
not
not
real
done
thing.
with proper female animations. And stuff.
Yeah, got to have those hip swagger just right.
It's like
So,
Thailand.
guys-
It's all lies. It's all lies.
We need a
But
bomb
no,
slider.
but in terms of the things that are kind of I slightly disagree with you, Miz, in terms of like this year. I think that I'm glad that they've reduced the amount of things that they're potentially putting out there, but I still feel it's incredibly optimistic. If you look at, like I brought it up here, the game mechanics that they want to bring in 1 year, in one patch, even by June, we're going to get beacon, distress calls, refueling, within 1 year, we're going to have extraction, refining, mining, selling, scanning, processing, salvage selling, manual repairs, refueling. Holy motherfucking God, this is like literally...
And keep in mind, these are all going to be player-driven activities. You will be able to use your prospector. You will be able to use your starfarer to refuel other players.
But they did also say, was it tier 1 level?
Yeah, tier 1. It's not going to be.
So you're not going to get there from
final.
refuel. loads of other
economy.
shit. Like that.
Economy is
It's not
tier
that.
1, and that's still pretty damn freaking good. The cargoing is tier 1 or tier 0 or whatever, and that's actually pretty good. So,
From what I remember them saying about the initial implementation of like salvaging and whatever, it's going to be with your personal arc welder, and it's going to be a handheld thing. It's not going to be via a ship as such.
So
it's
if
going to
you're
be
going
more...
to take apart a Starfarer, you're going to be there for about a year.
just get all your mates. They'll get 60 people, all your mates on one instance to go next to one ship and just let's see. how long
Unless
it
by
takes to
then 30 in
dismantle
an
it.
instance is still a thing.
Yeah, that's true. 30 people.
But let's talk about, like, on this 3.1. Let's talk about what could bring back some player numbers here. What I'm really looking forward to, my wish list. A network blind culling, fixing up the network is going to increase any improvement to the network is going to increase frame rates in the persistent universe. I do not expect network blind culling to make this patch. I expect that to get pushed out to 3.2.
You think so?
You could be right. I really, really hope they get that. It's one of the significant ones that will, like you say, bring people back. I think that's going to be the initial one. If people can get decent frame rates, then we're on to a winner. But like you say, it's not that easy.
Yeah. The ships and vehicles, I do not care. Weapons, I don't care. Sure, it's nice to have some new weapons, but that's not gonna. I mean, I play Star Marine, so I've been playing with the same 4 guns in Star Marine for over a year now with 2.6. So I don't care. Let's see, gameplay. We scroll down to ship weapons balance and ship damage pass. I'm more interested in the ship weapon balance. They have, from the streamers that I've talked to that do primarily ship PvP and some of the other ship the PvP organizations I talk to, CIG has killed PvP this patch with the way they've adjusted shields and whatnot and weapon damage. So I'm most looking for ship weapon balance for the next patch.
Yeah, I've heard the same. To be fair, yeah.
Without doubt, they've killed. Definitely.
I mean, they've only got two tasks to ship weapon balance, so that could be just let's make all ammo do a tiny bit more damage. Whoop, done. Yay!
You know,
task complete.
What's kind of misleading about these tasks and things is like it's, you've got 32 out of 56 for the Reclaimer, which you kind of think, well, that's just hooking stuff up. But when you look at something like, where am I looking? Something that has one task to do, and it's not quite like the IFCS change. It's got one task to complete, and it's not there yet. I'm assuming certain things are far more complicated than other things, but it doesn't really express that in the tasks. It just says you've got one thing to do, and you kind of look at that and you think, okay, that shouldn't take too long then. But really,
no.
Forever,
when I was doing the PTU, I swear to God, there was something wrong with my ESP IFCS. And everyone was telling me, "No, Vertigo, you're crazy. Vertigo, you're crazy." And then we had one of the developers come in and say, "Yes, IFCF has a huge number of bugs with this current release." So the reason why combat feels super floaty, and a reason why but IFCS is bugged, ESP doesn't work properly. You can't adjust your stick curves properly. Shields are too tough. Armor's too tough. So spaceship combat is super tedious right now.
Yeah, and that was practically what was keeping people playing.
And also wrecking weapons. You can't wreck. Getting weapons to fit into loadouts to stay on your guns is almost impossible. So you're left with standard loadouts, which do fuck all against anyone who knows anything about combat like I do. You do not use standard loadout weapons. You have to pimp your weapons up. You have to take the better size 3s, whatever, to get through the shields, and you can't. So and if you lose your ship, then he resets everything, and it's just it's a fucking nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I have. There's a couple guns I bought from the Voyage Direct store a long time ago. Even my referral weapons, if I attach those to any ship, I lose them as soon as I lose the ship. I don't get access to them again.
Yeah,
I bought a Sawbuck years ago. Is that even in the game at the moment?
Yeah, Sawbucks are still in the game. They changed how they worked. They're essentially badgers that take ammo. They're terrible. Don't bother.
I agree. I think they really need to look at all the guns. They need the balancing. I completely agree. The whole combat system, and that's why I'm really happy that this is why I agree with Twerk and other people who have watched stream and stuff. I agree that the 3.1 is the 3.0 that we were originally promised.
Yes, they put out 3.0 when they shouldn't have. They felt the pressure. They wanted to do it for Christmas. They released it, and they should have waited until it was more optimized.
The 3.1 is another 3 months. So
yeah, I'm saying April, March for 3.1, and of course I was telling August, September for 3.0 last year, and
yeah, we've all been done.
Yeah, I can't unring that bell.
I think it's been killed because they rushed 3.0 out. People played it. It wasn't the high expectation that they made it out to be. And so it's killed the hype. Everyone's just been like, fuck it.
I mean, I called it from ages ago. I was saying that really, we'll enjoy it and it'd be nice to see, but just walking around an empty planet. I mean, actually, it's got more stuff on it than I thought it would, but just like empty moons, there's only a limited amount of enjoyability in that.
Yeah, that's the two gameplay options I tell people. You can do space cargo runs or space tourism, and then post your pictures to Reddit.
It's great that it's completely generated, but when there's nothing to look at and one rock mountain looks maybe slightly higher than another one, it's limited.
Does it? Fuck it, I've got to visit that place.
I mean,
it's well worth it. Don't forget to piss your name in the ground while you're there.
It's bad.
Piss your name in the ground. I wish I could do that.
You know it's bad when I'm the person.
SMB was here.
Hang on. It's bad when I'm the person on the stream saying that I was actually quite enjoyed the break. I mean, I do miss combat big time. I mean, I did it for a whole year. That was all I did. But I've been super impressed with their first edition of the cargo running. I actually have quite enjoyed the kind of the chilled out aspect of going to the black box and just kind of collecting the stuff out of the black box with your hands and manually loading up on my cutlass. I've enjoyed that. The landing on planets is the most beautiful thing. There is no other game that I have ever played. When I get into my spaceship, I really start to feel the immersion of the space game, and it still draws me back, even though I know it's fucking bugged as shit at times. I can't do my combat, the thing I love, but I trust them. These guys have made Wing Commander. These guys know what they're doing. I trust them. They will bring this back, I'm sure. If they don't, I will be dropping a big pile of shit on their doorstep at CIG.
There you go.
It to them.
Yeah.
That's for you.
Bandis, you also bring up a good point, and something I usually have to bring up to new people that come to Star Citizen. Star Citizen is not going to be about constant pulse pounding action all the time. You're going to have these wonderful, slow, beautiful moments, and I find it from time to time my stream playlist is not appropriate for what's happening on the screen. Sometimes I got Mick Gordon's BFG division, and I'm on a fucking yellow watching the sunrise through the rings, and I got this playing, and I'm just like,
can we find a different song?
Yeah, we find a little bit more appropriate song here.
It's true. There is.
You have to do that. Yeah.
There is something about the game, though, that when you get those moments of the sun rising, the sun setting, flying down in atmosphere, that is when you see the true potential of how it's going to truly feel once everything is working and in the game. Right now, you don't get that as much as you would want. And because we play it so often as streamers, you really just take it for granted, the scope of what's coming. And I just I get bored of playing 3.0.
Fatigued. Yeah, fatigued.
You do. You easily get fatigued from this because it's just the same stuff. This is why having the roadmap, I'm excited for the roadmap. Unfortunately, it's not going to be till June by the time we get something worthy of our time in terms of more momentous gameplay in
Feb,
other than
maybe
combat.
Feb. They've said they want to have a quality of life patch. Sometimes
That's not going to
3.1.
change what you can do as such, though. Really,
I'm not sure what it's going to fix, but I do have a couple little things that I would like to see fixed to kind of help bring back some player base. But we're not going to get
Madness made a good point on one of the streams we were doing a while back, and it was in terms of like obviously they got the economy in there and they got the cargo on there, which is great. But there's also an element that because we're in the testing phase, that it doesn't need to be quite so locked down as it is. And I mean, he meant more like in terms of like the ships and the insurance thing. Like we obviously know there's going to be insurance, and we obviously know that's going to. But do we need it now? Is it a mechanic that we need to get? Like when you're crashing your ships and it's bugging out and everything else, and you have to wait, and then you have to claim, and then it doesn't come straight away. And and if you've got limited amount of ships, you're waiting all this time for your ships to be available, rather than let's let us have our ships and play with it. It's not a game mechanic that we need at the moment.
It's bad timing because they're trying to they're putting in stuff that's ready and then sort of balancing it and working it through. But
it's like, well, we can do this, let's add it, but it's not needed.
Yeah.
It's not really a needed mechanic.
But then should they hold off and wait until it is needed and then just delay that bit of tech further? If it's ready to be put in the game, get it in, test it, make it work.
It's brewing in the gameplay to what you've got now and testing other things. Because
it's alpha, that's what alpha's for.
No, but it's not. You can't test it fully, can you? Because it's not working 100% because you're claiming stuff and it's coming in, and then like if you're not earning the money because it goes from a bug, and then you can't buy your ship back, so then you have to wait ages to get it. That is kind of
what the testing is, though, isn't it? Is that it's just they're not patching it as quick as we like.
I know, but I'm still not sure it's really needed. Why has he got that marker on his head?
Just shoot.
Sorry, it's because I need this third monitor. This is the problem. I'm waiting for this third monitor because
going back to incomplete mechanics and having insurance. I'm actually have a couple new people playing with me these days. Shout out to Ocean Man, who's one of my newest viewers. We were playing this the other day, and he only has a Mustang Alpha. And he was commenting, is like, why are all the streamers like really good at just loaning ships out? Because we know if you only have the one ship, you lose that one ship, and it's 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. Even if it's just a starter ship, it's still just a handful of minutes. You have to sit around with your thumb up your butt.
Get rid of it.
I mean, to be fair, it's similar. It's kind of like swings and roundabouts. It's good to have it in so we can test it, get it optimized, and get it changed. But having it in is stopping people who don't know much about the game from actually playing the game.
Exactly.
So it's swings and roundabouts. It's good. If
I just think it's a mechanic that can be tested at any time. It doesn't need. It's not when things are working and your ship's not crashing and the servers are not crashing. Then you can test it because then you're testing it properly, and it becomes part of the marketplace because you're spending your money on that and that. Whereas at the moment it's not really becoming part of the marketplace. Most people, if you've got the money, you chuck it in and get it a little bit quicker, but you still got to wait. And
does that actually when you expedite a claim, does it actually take any?
No, it takes no money to expedite or claim insurance.
So you just always hit that expedite.
I always hit expedite. Costs you nothing. It's free.
Okay. Well,
but going back to unfortunate situations. Oh, we have to time.
No. I was just saying it doesn't cost you any money. It costs you time.
Cost you time. Yeah. But sometimes I get to the point where all my ships are I'm waiting a handful of minutes for a ship to come in, or my ships have the insurance bug where they don't have engine seats, doors. So I've been taking to playtesting the game, trying to find interesting ways to break into other ships and stealing other people's ships. I found out how to break into Retaliators, how to break into Constellations, how to break into Cutlasses. In fact, if you go to my Twitter feed, you'll actually see Twitch clips of me demonstrating how to get this pointer off my face.
It's not on purpose, I swear. It's just
how to break into a Cutlass Black.
Did you know you can hide the cursor, Matt? Well, you can on OBS.
I need to figure it out. Hang on. Carry on. I'm going to try and figure it out now.
So
carry on.
No, it's not.
So yes, I've been demonstrating to the community how to break into other people's ships, just so that if you get into the situation where you're waiting for your ship to come back, you can take someone else's ship. Because welcome to Star Citizen, stealing is going to be a thing.
You don't get to keep it, though.
You don't get to keep it permanently, but you get to keep it long enough to actually, go to the Javelin Rec site, or go to the drug lab, or make someone extremely upset that you stole their ship with full of their drug shipment or something.
Yeah,
I
I
was doing
don't
that last night.
I agree with you, and I definitely it can add some gameplay elements. Just my own personal opinion. When there's lots of bugs and things not working, and I've seen loads of comments on Facebook where people have spawned their ships and then someone's just come along and pushing it off the landing pad or blowing it up on the landing pad, and then that's it. And they've got to wait another 4 minutes. Then they summon it again. Then they've got to wait another 5 minutes because someone's sitting there trolling. It's a mechanic that's in, and I get that it needs to be in and it needs to be tested. I just think it's not needed to be tested at the moment.
Yeah. The ship ramming is just, that's so stupid. I hate that. Open space landing pads were a mistake.
Yeah.
And in fact, in some instances, the armistice zone isn't large enough to actually cover the entire outpost. So you can actually have people blow your ships up at like Shubin and ArtCorp mining stations from just a couple hundred meters above the surface. You can also get sniped inside those armistice zones as well if someone has an arrowhead and they're waiting.
Well,
for
that's
you.
because they've not made them. OLSR used to be you had to go out quite far before the armistice zone dropped. Now it's like you just literally fly a tiny little bit, and it's like armistice zone dropped. It's like, what, really? Because I remember back in the old days where I was turning around with a freelancer with the big cannons and just like trying to shoot back into there and hitting people. But now you could actually probably do it quite easy.
I've tried. They've actually, I believe the weapons do not have any effect when they're firing into Olisar's armistice zone. Yeah, they used to.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember that. People, like when the first PU first came out, people would fly to the top of Olisar, right above the landing pads, and they'd start falling because ballistic weapons had a effective range of like 2 or 3 kilometers. You can start blowing ships up on the landing pads.
I'm right now trying to figure out how to stop my fucking mouse from going over your faces every 5 seconds.
Don't worry about it. He likes it.
That's fine.
He
Let's
likes
just
the
keep
attention.
going.
I'm trying to figure out. Someone says you go to scene options and XSplit to do it, but I'm it's because I have to have you guys on this behind the screen, and for some reason it keeps always catching the mouse when I'm moving over everything. So it's like, but I need to get rid of it. So if someone knows how to do it easy with XSplit, let me know and I will try and fix it. Then was there anything else? Did anyone else want to? I wanted to ask you guys a question actually. Which is the most exciting game mechanic on the roadmap that you want, or like
salvage?
Yep.
Just
salvage. Okay. Mac, salvage as well, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to be finding shite and extracting it, put it in my
find
cargo.
shite now. You don't need salvage.
No,
We're always finding shite.
I just want to be able to tear a ship apart while someone's inside of it. Like grab onto someone's Aurora MR they just spawned while they're flying around the verse and just start ripping the ship apart around them. And then suddenly they're just stranded in space. Like by later.
For me personally, I'm really excited about the ability to give other players missions and money. That for me is very exciting. So,
yes,
that for me is the best game mechanic. The ability to.
I call it the work order system. They call it the service beacon. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that's going to work in terms of how they're going to put it in. Is it going to be like in Eve where we set like a job thing and we give them money on completion, or is it going to be, can we physically give them money and stuff?
No, it's going to be, you're going to fill out a work order. My imagination of the system is you're going to have a work order with a list of like a drop-down menus, and you can essentially copy-paste like very basic objectives, like escort
they actually accept
from this
it.
This point to this point. When you reach this point after the escort, you will get your money. When we reach this point, like when I land at Levski, you will get paid for escorting me. Or go get this box, pick it up, and when you drop this box off at the Olisar admin desk, you will get your chunk of money.
Yeah, it'll be like escrow. So it'll be put into a holding thing, and then when you actually complete the mission, it'll be transferred. You may be able. I mean, they did say a long while ago that they don't want people exploiting it in terms of just being able to send each of them money as easy as that, which I think they will do eventually. But it's most likely just going to be you set the mission parameters. Once that mission is complete, the money gets transferred depending on what you have, or you could do like a percentage. And it'll be interesting to see what they figure out with that, because it will be through the mobiGlas. There won't be any physical money.
Do you think we're going to be able to trade currency then? Like, I'm not on about through the missions, but just literally straight out trade currency. And I ask it because some MMOs have gone down the route of you just can't trade currency between people. And
it's more a game-breaking thing that people can exploit it to a point, and that's what they don't want people to do.
Yeah, gold farming essentially. You know, people
yeah,
running the same. Some
we
people botting a mission to gain really low levels of currency, and then they just have 2,000 bots doing the same little thing over and over and again. Then suddenly, UEC is the inflation goes through the roof, and UEC means nothing.
I mean, that's kind of why they had their argument of being able to sell UEC on the website, because they said, look, gold farmers are going to come and try and sell it. If we sell it, then it at least gets rid of them out of the game, because you can go on to the website and buy it.
One of the reasons why Diablo's, in my theory, why Diablo 3's real money auction house went the way of the dinosaur, because it was so easy to farm real gold and items through. Once the hackers figured out how to remove most of the game graphics and the sounds and engines, and there's just the math they could run. They can have 20 instances on the same computer. They can start farming that stuff. Go to the real money auction house, sell it for billions of gold for $20, and then suddenly just you got all this hackers and fraud to worry about.
Economy.
It ruins your in-game economy.
That's what I'm saying. Just keep it to people having to draw pretty pictures. It makes it a lot harder. It's not maths and numbers then. It's actual talent that sells the goods.
Yes.
How much is that worth?
Actual talent, exactly. Actual
talent. Talent here?
Yeah, he knows. So that's cool. I mean, I'm excited about Savage as well. I'm excited about all of the mechanics because they're just going to bring excitement. But there's a couple ones I'm specifically excited
Any mechanic would be nice.
Just one more, please.
Please, sir.
Okay.
May I have another?
Do you know what what's really exciting as well? I know it sounds silly to a lot of people, but my God, this looks so much easier to read, which is the UI. The fact they've it doesn't look like I'm being blinded by the bottom. Underneath where you can actually see the arm. I can never see anything. I mean, I know it's a bit darker in the background.
It's like a flashlight. It's like a little flashlight right at the Moby glass emitter.
Yeah. So I really like this. I think it looks a lot better. It looks like they've cleaned it up a little bit. This is interesting on the right hand side here. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. The way that they're doing
I'm not a fan of that
arm.
type of graph because it doesn't really give me an instant indication as to what something can do.
Yeah,
it's an at a glance graph. I'd rather have numbers, honestly.
What's
the rate of fire?
Okay, so I'm going to give you the solution to this. If they wanted to make this work, to me, is like if you have the ability to overlay. Yeah, both is fine. But if you were to ability to say, for example, I have a new piece of armor, say braces. I picked up a different pair of braces. You would then see underneath in like red or something or green to indicate the improvement. So it goes up in armor, goes down, and it goes red down in stealth, and it goes up in EVA. That would be my if they wanted to keep it.
Wouldn't surprise me if we would get
just
that.
Do like the Borderlands type up green up arrows and red down arrows.
Just to show, just in color, just to show. I mean, I don't know if they've got color. Unfortunately, everything is just one color, so it might not work. But
you don't even need that. You need to just draw the outline of what the new weapon would do on top of the old one when you hover it over. So it'd either be smaller or it'd be bigger. You'd see where it goes.
I just want to instantly know what the stats are, like what the debate. Like,
I just want the gun to tell me this is better. Use me.
Yes, but I think if they did that overlaying over the top and it showed you, it would work. I think as it stands in terms of just looking at it right now, that is meaningless to me. Other than it's kind of like, what do these numbers mean? I mean, you could put numbers on here and indicate with little dashes to say 0 or whatever, 1 to 10 or whatever.
I suppose it makes more sense if like you said, if it had the extra thing to compare it on its own. Of course, it means nothing because you've got nothing to compare it against. So. It just means it's got some armor, it's got some weapon speeds, it's got, it's got to have something to compare it to mean something in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. But it's just nice to see I'm not being blinded at the bottom as much. That's all I'm saying.
This is something we know that's going to be worked on a lot over and over and over again, the UI, I think. And we've already been told we can change the color of it, and as long as that stays the same, so, you can, if you don't like
that's something I've noticed throughout Star Citizen, that the UI, it's just colors in general, colors and problems with lights, like the transition to the Star Marine menu from like the main menu. That's just this blinding white light now. That loading screen, very, very, very unsettling when that happens. Or you run around in Star Marine, you aim down sights, you fire your P4, and certain parts of the map, if you do that, you're aiming at like an outlaw. Like you can't see anybody when that happens. Everything just gets blurs together and just kind of mass of color. And then flying a constellation down to Delamar, good luck. Good luck. Anybody who's tried to fly a constellation into Delamar's atmosphere, like, I can't read any of my MFDs.
No, I can't. But here's the thing: is I don't know about you guys, but my next main thing is that I really need, and I've seen it. I crashed 3 times today, going into literally the planet because I had no idea of the distance I was because it was pitch black and I couldn't see. I really need a warning sign, an initiation to say,
on madness is
you are about to smash into the planet, and you are, coming in at 1,000 meters per second, and you are. And I had no idea, because once you get certain distance, like if you go right into the whole planet, everything is just black, and I had no idea. And next thing you know is you're smashed into it like
Which ship were you flying, Madness?
Everything, any ship, doesn't matter what it is, I can do that.
Because most ships have most ships have altimeters on them. Good luck trying to figure out where the altimeter is. And most
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's still, when it's daytime, I can kind of generally judge because obviously I can see and I know the shit's getting close, But when it's nighttime, there is none of that there. It would be nice if, I've said this before, if there was I'm all for having a automatic kind of ship safety, fucking slows you down, stops you from smashing.
Ground avoidance system.
Yeah, it just literally takes over. It literally takes over and just says, "You are about to kill us. Let's get them."
They're available in the Star constellation.
You can switch it on and off. It's an option. You can have it on or off. It's your decision to switch it on or have it off. But I do think that there needs to at least be some sort of warning, big red lights, indicators to show you I'm getting close. You're getting
close. Especially with those moons, they really sneak up on you. They're so big you can't.
Yeah, they really sneak up.
So big and quiet.
I am coming in your stream, and when you smash into the planet in the black, I am going to make a real fuss. I'm going to record it.
You don't have to. Like, I have my viewers do it for me. We already have an We're going to make an emote about this. They have told me I need to get a prospector. I find so many asteroids.
That's true.
I've bounced the ground so hard that I've actually gone back out to atmosphere again.
Just pops you right back out.
It's because it tells you the distance of things on the other side of the moon, and when the numbers are quite close.
Oh my god! Yeah, okay. I've had that. Like, it's 500 kilometers away. I got plenty of time to stop. Bam!
Yeah. Wow! Scares the shit out of you.
I know. Especially coming on the dark side, like you're looking at one objective, like, it's 500 kilometers away. Bam! Yeah.
It just
scares the shit out of you.
You're going in the other direction 500 kilometers. But I get it. I get the same when I'm coming in as well, because I can sometimes when I see the target, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, that was where I was supposed to be. You just go zooming past it, and then you have to do a really big arc and kind of come around. But I like that because it's kind of cool. Looks kind of cool. But the number of times I've dive bombed, smashed into things.
I'm glad the moon's a bouncy, to be fair.
Yeah, I've had to memorize for my constellation. Oh my god, the constellation Andromeda fully loaded. I had to memorize exactly where I need to start decelerating towards a planet, 25 kilometers, 25 to 30 kilometers out. You have to start decelerating, and you have to start applying reversed boost and afterburner at 20 kilometers.
Yeah.
And if you start decelerating under 20 kilometers, 21 kilometers, you will hit the ground. Yeah, if you reverse the entire ship and start afterburning the other direction, afterburn boost the other direction from the planet, you will hit the ground.
That's what I'm saying. There needs to be that warning system to say, now, basically tuck your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye, because you've now reached the point of no return. You are hitting the thing.
I've had issues that I can throttle down and I will still remain at top thrust, with the second afterburner. And the only way I can stop myself, and I do it too early, I never get it right timed-wise, is to switch to landing mode and allow it to slow me down to 50.
There's actually several bugs associated with that. One of them is decouple switch will actually mess up your throttle. And coming out of quantum will actually stick you at full throttle. So if you don't, and I have to do this. I have a T1600M, good joystick. I have to, every time I come out of quantum, I always zero my throttle out. I just, I throw the slider forward, full throttle, and back to zero. Just to make sure I actually can control my ship. And All-Star will also have the same thing. I know there's this weird distortion bubble around All-Star. If you pass through, it sticks your throttle, and it kind of throws your ship around too. I don't know if everyone realizes that.
You get that on just mouse and keyboard. Don't just because you're a throttle person thinking you're all elitist. We suffer the same problems on the mouse and keyboard, just the same as you guys in your fancy Warthogs and your T6000s or whatever it is.
Fancy. This is one of the cheapest ambidextrous joysticks on the market.
We suffer just the same as you guys.
Yes.
It's wobbling all over the place. I can't track for shit.
Wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly. So we're all in the same boat together on this. It's not just a thruster problem. It's just.
Oh, did I say the wrong joystick? I'll not say a Thrustmaster or something.
The Thrustmaster T16000.
We know a little bit of madness is a Thrustmaster. Heyo.
Whoa. So I'm going to bring us back onto this because we still have quite a lot, and I want to get to some questions.
We never went off schedule, did we?
We're not. We're not off.
Keep going.
We just got the sheer amount of content. I wanted to talk to you guys about what's missing. What are the things missing from the room? The things that we're surprised. Like some people said about the Banu Merchantman not being on there, the Carrack's not on there. The other thing I was talking about is no electronic warfare. No one's really talked about. That's not on there. We all know how fucking annoying the Raven is. I'm sorry. I know it was fun
Raven
to give
Warlock.
them this. Yeah, it's really fun. Let's give these people a ship that can kind of literally.
It's just an off button for your ship. It's an off. And by the way, it doesn't turn your ship off anymore. Oh, by the way, you can chain that stuff because it looked like when they took away the ability to turn off the ship that was firing the EMP, they forgot to add the time it takes to turn your ship back on to the charge up of the EMP.
So it's literally the worst. It was like okay, guess what we're going to do? We're going to reward all these people that are buying SSD drives from Intel and all those people who won them. We're going to reward them with the ultimate troll. And I know this is the ultimate troll because people who are trolls in the game in 2.6 and who were doing it with the Warlock all pretty much went out and bought the Raven so they could go do the same thing because they enjoy that pissing people off. They enjoy it. They love it. That's what they live for. So if they're all flying around, if they're all flying around in that ship, I know that it's they're exploits. They like to do those little exploits, and the Raven for me is.
I mean, there's a whole can of worms with the EMP ships. I've talked to a couple of people who are org leaders that have said pretty much those ships are now KOS. Like if we see a Warlock or a Raven head near us, we're pretty much assuming they're out for trouble.
Scapper.
At least, no, it's true though. There's no point playing with them. They've got enough. It's just like oxygen. Just literally don't give them any. If they're fire, sorry, just take the oxygen away. They'll get bored running around eventually. But it's just annoying. They always have a friend usually sitting in the background somewhere, and then he suddenly bounces in. It's just like I get the mechanic, but it's so broken.
It's so so ham-fisted, is what I've been called it.
But I expect we'll see like a balance for it rather than like if they haven't addressed it in the roadmap, they'll just.
I hope so.
Balance.
I hope we get. I hope 3.1 we just get I hope they just basically make it so that the time between the EMP bursts is greatly lengthened. Because
that's pretty much what I said it needs right now until EMP gets a little bit until they get actual EMP resistance and whatnot into the modules.
Just make it a long time so that
the biggest thing I thought was missing was the Hull C. That was supposed to be ready as the Reclaimer. Where the fuck?
It's on the Terrapin.
I was going to, I mean, for me, the problem with the Hull C, if you notice, they talked about the building. They're going to these truck cargo thingies, which looks like they're going to be able to do docking and stuff. That's coming later. Yeah. That stuff's coming December. And that, for me, I think indicates the problems that they're having with the Hull C. The Hull C doesn't land, does it? It has to dock.
That's true.
And that's
it can do if it's unladen. And
if it's unladen, okay.
There's no reason why, if it's ready, like we've got the Starfarer, we've got the Prospector, two ships who have disposable functionality with like fueling and mining, but they don't have them. So there's no reason to hold off releasing a ship for the sake of that. If it's a case of not being able to land fully laden, we have like the Aurora, which doesn't have actual cargo; it just has fake cargo. So why don't they just implement the Hull C now it's ready, let them bug test and things, other sections of it, and just say that it won't expand for now because the cargo doesn't work. So when the time comes, we'll allow it to expand and then we'll start working on cargo 2.0, 3.0, whatever that is. I say get it in game, let us test it.
But then what are you testing if it doesn't do cargo? It's a cargo ship.
What have we been testing with the Starfarer and the Prospector? The good thing about it, though, is that there's going to be much less bugs for the Prospector and the Starfarer when the actual mechanics come in.
But
unloading the whole sea is also going to be a big deal, too. Like, you need to have some sort of, either you teleport the cargo off the damn thing, or you have some sort of fleet tender pick it up off the ship.
I just think don't have cargo at all for it at the moment. If we don't have cargo for certain ships, so just allow it
like
to
the
stay
Prospector.
in.
That's true.
Yeah, like the Prospector
have it
just
in the
flies around
clothes.
doing nothing. Yeah.
We don't
Also,
need
you know,
the mechanics. We need the ships.
Also, the Idris not being on the roadmap, too. Like how
I think the Idris, these big ones, I reckon they're just holding them off for Squadron 42. They did discuss it a while ago, didn't they? As do we drop it and sort of in a way spoil it for people? But then you sort of speak to the people who paid like $2,500 for a Javelin. They're like, yeah, no, I'm happy for them to drop it in now. I don't want to wait. So I assume it's just more Squadron 42.
I would love to see them have just like an empty free flight map with an Idris in the center of it. People can just fly around and walk through.
Well, capture the Idris mode. That is what I want to see.
That's dead. That's dead. That ain't coming. That's like Sadaball. That ain't happening.
No, we can't.
They ain't coming.
We need it. That'll be amazing.
We'll see. We'll see about that one. But
Capture the Bengal.
Capture the Bengal. Capture the.
The thing is, Capture the Bengal would probably last like a year for me because I wouldn't be able to find the way to the freak anyway.
Even if you found it, I wouldn't be able to find my way back out. That's the problem. I need to leave a trail of breadcrumbs, I think, or trail of dead bodies.
I just follow the dead bodies. If I see a corpse, I'm like, I've already been here.
That's what I'm thinking. That would be. You could really confuse you though by pretending to be dead.
I was gonna
say,
quick,
everybody lie down. Everybody lie down.
Everywhere in this ship, it all looks the same.
We'll confuse H Vertical by lying down. Everyone just lie down. He'll think he's been this way. He'll be running around forever. God damn it! They're not dead. So the Herald, electronic access, all that kind of stuff we don't know about EMPs. We've already spoke about no confirmation of money, gameplay optimistic, blah 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 blah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
There's nothing really big. Like I guess I don't care about ships. The Eclipse actually came out a little bit faster than I was expecting. The Hurricane is a little slow. I figured the Hurricane be out sooner.
Well, the Hammerheads and the 608 are really coming quick.
Oh yeah. I figured the Hammerhead's being used in Squadron. That's why I figured it's on the list.
Yeah, and they have obviously Anvil's really worked out with the Idris and the Javelin, so it's just a case of... I think they didn't say there was only 2 rooms for the Hammerhead that they need to start from scratch.
It's all the Aegis stuff they've got,
Aegis.
It's all right. Yeah. I know the people in here will be going,
You
mean
the Aegis. Get it right, Mac. Yeah, it's the Aegis. They've got all the parts, isn't it? Recycling.
Yeah. They're just slotting it together, aren't they?
They're very confident in those turrets. That's
slotting it, Hammerhead. I get it. It's got a big slot down the center.
That's exactly what I meant.
That's what you meant.
You're giving Mac far too much credit.
Thank you. That was
You're welcome.
I noticed.
It's just the look of Mac's face then was just told us everything we needed to know. I was going to say, I think that it's just the turrets, honestly, because it's got 4 size. It's literally the Hammerhead and the Hurricane are using kind of the same layout in terms of turret size, I believe. It's size 4s, isn't it? It's 3 size. Is it 4? Yes, 4 size 4s on the turret on the Hurricane.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah, no, I think that the turret is like size
4 size 3s. 4 size 3s. That's it. Sorry, 4 size 3s.
I remember them getting kind of confused because the size of the weapons were wrong. It's actually 2 size 3s on the nose and then 4 size 3s on the turret.
Yeah,
everyone was like, it came out when it first came out. It was like 2 size 4s and 4 size 4s or something. It was like ridiculous.
I have a 6 size 2s and then 1 size 9. But other than that, I think if we swapped it out for a 2 size 4s and we had a 3 size 9s and then swapped it with maybe the 6 size 4s.
Okay, that's enough.
This is the Muppet that does videos to tell you how to play Star Citizen.
So, for anyone, we're talking about port sizes for holding weapons, basically. So size 4.
No, Mac's not talking about that.
Yeah, we're talking about slots.
Me and Mac are both sitting again.
Slots and ports. That's what we're talking about.
You can tell the people who do actually shoot things. Here's my thing. Okay, so Sandy mentioned on ATV that Squadron 42, the $15 additional add-on when you buy the game package, is now going away. That's interesting. So
that was already the case, though, wasn't it? They said when these new packages come out, they said it'll go from 15 up to whatever, up to the usual price. It was only for the period of generally the cheap sales of ships.
Yeah,
it was never intended for a long period. No slots periods.
But it's just interesting. It never really. I mean, I had problems with it. I mean, I never understood why, for example, I could buy multiple copies of Squadron Star Citizen, the preview part of the game, but I could never buy multiple copies at discount of Squadron 42. You know, I mean, it was always like I can only have one. I couldn't have another Squadron 42 unless I bought the full version. I couldn't buy it at discount. It never gave me the option for that £15 add-on for any package I had. It's some sort of thing they had going on. I don't know why. You had to melt your combo pack in order to do it, which was really weird. So personally, I don't really care. I already have it. It was just because I wanted to get the 5-year insurance thingy. But it doesn't matter. I really don't care. Judging on the insurance right now, it's such a mess. I just don't care, to be honest.
Yeah, don't want insurance.
I just don't really care too much. I've got enough LTIs. I'm fine. The next topic, because I want to get to questions, is the website. Now, and I just ran out of time because I was playing games all day today. I was going to make my version of what I think the webpage should be, and I'm disappointed I didn't do it now.
Add 3 bits of text to it. I feel like I've already had a rant on this, and I shouldn't do it again.
And we don't have to. Well, we kind of nailed it. So, but like, I just want to kind of.
It's a little nicer.
Let's go on to the webpage, shall we, guys?
Right, I'm talking about that they made this website and saying that it's to help brand new people to the game, not people that have played it, but brand new people. And my argument is the very first splash screen you come to makes no sense at all.
Join the
is the multiplayer one. It doesn't tell you that Squadron 42 is the single player one. Okay, the third one makes sense. It's the roadmap of development. I can kind of get that. But all they needed was a little bit of text underneath and saying, this is our single player version of the game. This is our MMO version of the game. So at least you know what you're clicking on. It just says start the journey and begin the journey or something. And it's like,
be the journey. It's like an aftershave advert.
Yes. Yeah. That be the journey. Sex Panther.
There is no journey.
You works all the time.
Yeah. That's the website.
But I'm completely with Miz. I think you should just do it. It should be very, very straightforward. It should be very, very simple. Here is your, especially the buying of the game should be very, very simple. You just basically you get you can get the MMO. You can buy the Squadron 42, which is the single campaign. So
now the buying has gotten simpler. That's the one thing that I think is actually better. If you click Fly Now,
it's the same.
No, but we looked at something. If you actually go down to the package, would you remember when you clicked on the Squadron 42? Where was it? It didn't explain what the package was or something. It was just like buy.
Answer the call to the universe. I mean, the game package shows you like the Mustang Alpha. I mean, and then we go here, and I'm missing. I only get the Aurora, and then the it's just very much missing.
And
it's just the same. And then you've got all these other packages again of single ships that are kind of. I don't mind them having these, but I just think again, it's like I always feel that they're still almost feeling as if we know they're catering to people that know the game more than people who don't know the game.
Yeah,
that's my biggest problem with it.
You know what I was so excited to see missing? Then I realized that I found it was the ship matrix. I was like, yes, they finally got rid of the ship matrix. Nobody can have a problem over this dumb stat. Dumb lie. The ship matrix.
Okay, did you find your electronic access as well? Did you know what that is? They moved that to your hangar.
Scroll down towards the bottom. There's a lot. Actually, there's a lot at the bottom.
Yeah, they kind of like, let's just shove everything. It's all on the way out, basically. The way I look at that is anything that's kind of at the bottom, and I'm thinking that's on the way out of the webpage. But for me, I just feel they could have just made it so that here's the MMO, you buy and then here's the game packages for that. So here's the Aurora, here's the thing.
There's nowhere.
And then
But there's nowhere clear, like when you're clicking on that game package section, like say the Squadron 42, there's nothing that's clear that says if you buy this, you can then get Star Citizen cheaper or the other way around.
No.
I mean, there's nothing to indicate you can add that to the purchase.
They said it was supposed to be really useful, really easy to understand for new people, similar sort of And I'm going to ask my brother, who's never touched the game, never played the game, knows about it, but never been on the website, just to sort of sit with the website without any influence from me and just see if he can navigate
and
it.
that's what I'm trying to say, because
you know?
I feel like I can put myself in that position quite well, and that's exactly what I said to Madness. I looked at it and I said, right, okay, I'm looking at this as if I've never heard of the game, like never even heard of it. Someone, as in you, Matt, goes, like you said to your brother, right, I'm playing Star Citizen, here's the website, go and have a look and tell me what you think. And if you look at it from that point of view, the very first splash screen to me fails at the job. Join
Tell me
the
about
universe.
Tell me about the
become
game.
a universe.
Tell me about these products I'm clicking on.
Exactly.
On the splash screen.
It doesn't really clear up the sort of the initial thought that I seem to think is the mostly thought thing from an outsider is that you have to spend hundreds to get into the game. That seems to be the actual main thought process from people who don't know about the game, have heard about it. Like anyone I've spoken to who's never seen it, or they've heard of it but never played it, they just think you've got to spend like this. I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars for the game. I'm like, well, you don't.
Yeah, I get new people coming by and saying, "How do I get this game? Don't I have to spend hundreds?" No, just here, Aurora, Mustang,
and that's what I mean. And I think that they can do that.
Link.
They can do that. They can make it so there's a new person, you haven't signed into the game, you don't see any of this shit down here at 500, 400 quid or whatever.
Yeah, don't present that first.
No, don't present that. Just present the game packages and say, this is the game packages you can get, blah, blah, blah.
Interesting little bit about those game packages. I do not have access to see the Completionist pack or the Wing Commander pack.
I don't
but
see.
I know a few people who are concierge level who can still see those packs on their store page.
Stopping people from seeing them.
Yes.
Yeah, you are stopped from seeing some things. I can't see anything for
What
concierge
the
stuff.
theory is behind that?
A lot of that is if you haven't dropped enough money, like if you're not a whale, you're not going to buy those packs.
That's
so
like Pretty Woman, though, isn't it? Like you walk into a shop and they look at you and you're like,
yeah,
no.
That
you ain't going to spend that money, so
just
we ain't going to show you it.
I mean,
but also the website's still a work in progress.
It is. It is.
They're
It
a
is.
bit more
That is
development.
the
But
thing,
I do agree. I do agree with you, Madness, that your initial complaint when you go there for the first time, give me a little blurb of what Star Citizen is. Give me a quick breakdown of what Squadron 42 is. It's a single player game. It's going to be a space fighter first person thingy, and the Star Citizen is going to be an MMO.
Yeah, even if you don't have the blurb, just that very little tiny bit of text underneath each one. So this is our single player campaign. At least you kind of, even if you don't know it's a separate game, that gives you an idea. Okay, so this is a single player, right? Okay, this part's our MMO online world. Because like we throw around the term like persistent universe, but people that are completely new to it go, well, what the fuck's a persistent universe? What does that even mean?
Use language, use international language, gaming language. Use language that people that can play, that have never played Star Citizen, that have never played, can understand. We just need to know, this is the MMO, this is the single player campaign, this is the development. Great, follow the development of the game. That's fine, that actually makes sense. Follow the development. Fine, you can learn more about the game. Learn more about the game.
What it is.
But this
the other
one,
two are just catchy phrases.
Just single player, Squadron 42, whatever, part of Star Citizen's single player campaign within the world of Star Citizen, whatever you want to say it, but just make it so that it's a word that we know. And this is the MMO Star Citizen within the universe. Join it.
I think also what makes it more difficult as well is that when we talk about the game, we all talk about Star Citizen. And I know we obviously deviate to Squadron 42, but if we're talking about it engulfing everything, if you said buy both packages, you talk about it still from the Star Citizen point of view with the add-on of Squadron 42. So the Squadron 42 almost doesn't make sense to a new player that's hearing about it because all the news in PC Gamer, everything else, it's all about Star Citizen. That's what you're hearing.
Because they're doing Squadron 42 like a standard, produced video game. Like they really don't market these video games until they're, a couple of years from the shelf, a year from the shelf, or a couple months from the shelf.
But if that's the case, does it need to be on the website so predominantly, or I don't know?
Maybe Chris Roberts is feeling pretty good about it, and he thinks that it's about time to start advertising Squadron 42.
I'll start plugging it. Yeah, I definitely get that, but
get the marketing campaign rolling.
Yeah.
Like you said yourself, because you fell into the trap. Then you said if you see a new player, you say to them, "No, you don't have to spend $100. You need to spend $45." Well, technically, that's not true. If you want to play Squadron 42, you'd have to spend 80 odd.
Yeah, because you get both of them at the same time.
Yeah. So it's again, we all fall into the trap by telling people that's all you need to spend. Well, that's not true if you want to have the single player experience as well.
It's how we word
but
it.
to
We
get
have to
into
speak
what
like
we're
small
playing,
print.
it's 45. Yeah.
I usually try to
be very clear on it.
Yeah, it usually makes my my spiel a little bit longer when I have to make the distinction for people that yes,
But
there's two
that's
games.
But that's
There's a single
exactly
player and there's a
the problem, isn't it?
multiplayer side to
It's
it.
like it's like an American drugs advert.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this may cause death. If you suffer from this, you do not take this. If you please consult your doctor. Like, fuck,
Buy Star Citizen. Blah 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 blah.
Well, here's one thing I wanted to cover real quick before on the last Reverse the Verse with Chris Roberts. He mentioned that if you own Squadron 42, you will able to be playing Star Marine and Marine Commander.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Star
you
Citizen.
get access, don't you, to that?
Yep. I was so excited. Bring in both communities together instead of dividing them with DLC like DICE does.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's good. I mean, I'd be surprised if people are going to buy just the single player Squadron 42 and not buy the. I mean, there might be a few people, but I'd be very surprised if you bought Squadron 42 as a standalone and
just
didn't buy
just
the
Squadron
Persistent
42.
Universe.
There is a
I'd
lot
be
of people
very
that are
surprised.
not
I'm not
interested
surprised.
at all in Squadron 42.
And
There's-
vice versa, I get that. I get the other way where people don't like single player, but I'm very surprised that why you wouldn't want to become part of the MMO side of it. That's what I'm saying. Very surprised.
Because there's
I mean,
lots of
we'll
people
see. We'll have to see how the
don't like
numbers turn
multiplayer
out.
games. There's a huge single player community that just like single player games.
Sure.
I mean,
You can still
personally,
play-
that's not me.
You can still play Star Citizen, in my view, in the MMO world, single player. You don't have to
Not with you
engage with
freaking pirate
anybody else.
griefers, you can't.
Well, well, yeah, Ravens. I don't know. It depends. The world is so big. We could talk about that for another 20 minutes in terms of like, will you meet actual humans or will you meet,
just 20
AI?
minutes.
Yeah,
Co-op
20
essentially
minutes.
went away too on the
Yeah.
last Reverse the Verse. So
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and yeah. So interesting. The webpage overall, I think they've made some good improvements. I like some of the videos. The way it looks very slick. Because I want to give some positives towards it. I mean, I'm glad that they're trying to improve it. I think they'll get it right. I just think that there's a few things.
It's
Just
probably an
try
improvement on the last one,
get your
but,
dad,
which is not
to
difficult.
I would say there's about
get your dad to do it.
about 2/5 of the website is now updated. The rest is still the old.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the old
just-
system.
Like, I mean, the splash screen, which is basically what you're trying to say to entice new players, it could be improved. Which, in my opinion, that is supposed to be ready. That splash screen is ready, and I think it's not. And I think, like Mandis just said, then I think they need to grab someone almost off the street and say, "Look, Star Citizen's this space game. Can you just look at this website? Tell
They'll
me
be like,
you can
who
work
the
out
hell
how
are
to
you?
play it."
Leave me alone.
get away from
I
me, you
don't
strange
fucking
smelly
space
person.
game.
Do you know what? I think it'll be a great exercise, genuinely, to get when they think they've come to a position where they say, yeah, we finished the webpage, to genuinely get people who have no idea about the game.
They should be doing that
record
anyway.
That's what I mean. They should have done that anyway. Because why waste time having someone
don't
do?
know about the game.
Yeah.
Watch what they're doing. Watch them, record them, and go, yeah, we've kind of fucked up here. This is
It's like
we need to
nearly
fix this."
$200 million, and they don't think, let's just
Was-
get people who don't know the website to have a look.
What was that marketing campaign Electronic Arts did years ago? Grandma, like your mother plays Dead Space or something. Have something similar to the for the Star Citizen website.
What would you use?
Your grandma reacts to the
Grandma
web pages.
flash. Yeah, maybe. Hang on, is he gone? Where's he fucking gone? He can't leave his own podcast even to go to the toilet.
I'm coming back.
Get a
Hang on,
bottle.
I needed
Get a
a
fucking bottle.
Professional. He needs
just
much
run
love.
Has he just done? Is he
Just
just
get
done
a
shirt
bucket
change?
underneath you. That's all you need. You just
Advertising
cut a
my
hole.
advert.
You cut a hole underneath your seat and just have a bucket underneath it.
Recycle.
Yeah, recycle.
So we've
Highest
got some new
merchandise.
guns. I'm not going to bore you guys with the guns. Actually, here's an interesting thing. I was just going to
Yeah,
talk
no
about
guns on
tracking.
Twitch. Gotta
Tracking.
keep them covered.
We've got an American here. We better not talk about guns.
Yes,
You guys want to talk? I just went shooting with some of my subscribers like a couple weeks ago. We went to the gun range. Apparently, I'm really bad. This is my first time
not-
shooting a gun.
cut it. We don't discuss tracking. Someone showed this picture on Reddit, which I thought was
Alright.
interesting, about tracking, and I was
that
kind
a
of
tracking device?
this was like a tracking device, and I was just wondering
It looks
what your
like
guys'
a
thoughts
mate
are.
on my ship.
Just for a Brit, just what you guys' thoughts are on tracking. Do you want to see this come in as a thing quickly for bounty hunting and stuff, or would you be happy to wait?
I want to see everything that CIG has planned come in quickly. Like literally, if you ask me, do I want to see something quickly? Yes, of course. I want everything.
Question.
Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to see if would you? I mean, is that something that would be happy to see out?
Would be cool, actually. Yeah.
We can't
even target people half the time at the moment, let alone track them.
At least we'll be able to track Vertigo every time he fucking glitches inside our ship. Get him quick, tag him.
Yeah, make sure you check the bathroom on the Constellation. You never know.
Okay.
Actually, we were talking about that, man. This night we said when we're going on, they go, right, let's go to the shower block.
I've done that in a Vanguard. You know, in the Vanguard, you got that little sort of frosted window for the toilet. All you can see is a blurred image of me squatting, hoping that he doesn't turn to his left as he's leaving the ship. And then he sort of stops.
I had that backfire on me before, though. I've hid in the shower and the toilet bit, and then the door wouldn't open again. So
I actually had a viewer I was playing with on stream got locked into the bathroom on the Prospector. Didn't go let him out.
Screw you! The bugs. These are the great things we'll be able to talk about forever. This is a picture from Reddit. This guy, he's taken a few of the big capital ships. He's dropped them in water. I thought it was really interesting to see them in water. Actually, I don't know. He just did this, and
it's like a YouTube experiment. Does it float?
There you go.
Does it float? Does it blend? He's just doing. Does it float?
I'm more excited about the prospect of Star Citizen themed bathtub toys. I probably should be.
I was kind of looking at going, though, it kind of works for me. I was like, it kind of looks kind of cool. I was like, I would love to see an underwater crashed in water
warships, doesn't it?
I have an Idris bath mat. I'll just put that out there and leave that.
Conversation dead.
Thank you.
Thank you for your contributions.
Thank you.
Quick dad joke. Insert
that how you like.
But I mean, I've been playing Subnautica and I enjoy it, and I like the bit where you have the ship crashed in water. I think it adds something, and now we're going to be getting planets soon. I was just wondering if we maybe, as an Easter egg or something, like we had the
Trust me, you'll find plenty of my ships crashed in water.
Easter egg looks like it could be, like Easter Island or something.
And how is that going to work in terms of us crashing into water? I'm curious. I really like
Hopefully
to see...
we'll bounce like planets.
Yeah,
like Jello just bounce right on top of it.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like?
That level of fidelity where you just bounce off the surface.
Yeah, that's going to be a real physics brain fuck, isn't it, for the people developing it?
Yeah, can you imagine like all the
opening a door? You open up one of the airlock doors and you just have a wall of water staring at you.
Close the fucking.
I know, this is what I'm saying. It's going to be. I'm very like the water thing is that's going to be like they showed us with the ATV with the volumetric cloud stuff, and water is very similar in the way you kind of do the VFX and stuff for it. So I'm going to be really. I'm expecting to be blown away by CIG doing it. I think they'll do. If anyone's going to make something look amazing and incredible, CIG is. So I think it might look. I mean, I saw their first rendition of water, and it looked like most people do. It looked very clunky and blobby, and didn't look like water. It felt like more like Jello. But I expect them to really get on top of it, and it's going to be really complex. So watch the space. But I mean, for me, I saw this picture and it just was like beautiful. That looks. I couldn't think of anything more cool to be able to stand on top like a submarine, stand on top of my ship whilst you're in the water and look over the water and the planet.
But the fact is, if you're in that situation. You know you fucked up somewhere.
Yeah, gotta make the most of it. I literally.
I got a picture.
You'll literally be like, jeez.
I'm with Rough Galaxy. The Aurora's an ocean brick. Do you know, the gangsters tie bricks to people's feet? Well, the people would be tying Auroras to other ships to sink them.
More your ship to an Aurora.
Tie a couple of Auroras to it.
Yeah, have a nice little survival raft. You can tie a couple of Auroras together.
I'm doing it with the tonk. That's what I'm doing. That's what the only use the tonk has for me at the moment is to tie something to it and shove it off the bank. A ballast. Ballast will be using tonks.
If Sea of Thieves can do good water, I'm sure everybody else can.
Right, hang on. I got another wonderful little bit that I've been looking at. Someone was talking about treating landing zones more like an airport. So they were asking, why can we always seem to get lots of people walking around on pads and stuff? People just sitting there waiting, And this was interesting. And I was like,
nick ships.
I was like, well, you need to have your mates come on board the ship with you. Otherwise, how on earth are they going to get on? I mean,
they will be granted access through the customs. If you give permission to certain people, they should be able to walk through. Whether or not people can sneak through. Wait a minute.
Grant to sneak and jump over the fence.
Glitch
through the wall.
how we kind of group up at the moment, I wonder if there'll eventually be like a crew tab, and then you can invite people into as your ship crew, and then as long as they've got that tag on them, they can then walk through into your hands.
Uniform.
I would love to see it like on Firefly. You know when Bishop joins the crew, and they're just at this dusty little shithole, and he's walking along. And,
come on.
Yeah, you kind of if they have all these ships lined up and they're all advertising for work, you can be like, "Hi, I've just come to be your engineer." That would be cool. Maybe not in like places like Ark or like your big established places, but in like dusty, crappy,
like planet locations.
Yeah, villages. They did say there's going to be villages and towns and things. It's not just going to be big metropolis cities like Ark, or is it?
Good villages.
I bring a capital ship down on a little village and say, "Anyone
I was about to say, I need something to break my descent of my Idris and landing." That village would be a great soft spot.
These hand-built huts look just perfect. That's a civilization gone right there, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, we were discussing the other day about having a daycare in the back of my Cutlass, and if I get a couple missile locks, I can just shove a couple kids out.
Countermeasures.
Gerber countermeasures.
Oh my days!
Wow.
Unbelievable. That's crazy right there. Yeah.
Welcome to the
dark side.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah. So okay,
moving
Max
right along.
Moving right along. I completely killed that one. Here's the thing. Someone said this as well. They were talking about this person's colorblind. And they were having problems with this. Sounds really silly, but I think it's kind of an important thing to make note of. They were looking at when they were having to do their security number. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but I'll bring it up on stream here quickly. They were unable to read the security legal information here, and I was thinking.
I looked at it. I'm pretty sure I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I couldn't read it even without being colorblind, and I was like, I think it says 4754 or 3. Yeah, it says 4734 possibly. That would be my guess. Would be 4734. But in terms of like being able to colorblind, he had no chance. And then I was thinking to myself, it just goes to prove the point that CIG just even people like. Even that still can't read anything. You know what I mean? Even UI, we can't read anything, and the security level.
I keep telling them that they got
fucking blue.
They got this problem with light and textures and colors in Star Citizen, and this kind of just goes to kind of highlight that again.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but for some reason they're struggling with that. And then this one, because we were talking about skins earlier, this is why I was saying about why it'd be cool to be able to do skins. So this is someone's done some artwork, which I think is pretty badass on these Hornets. Again, if you like combat and stuff, which I do, but they got the skull, they got the kind of the old school kind of World War II styling, smiles and stuff. I think this is great. I mean, for me personally, if you're part of an org, this is the type of thing people want, to be able to customize and have their ships.
Right.
Especially if you're combat wise, how great is that? I mean, you could have like special markings indicate your kills and stuff. I just love all that stuff. So, especially big kills, that would be great. So this.
Well, they showed off. Last year, did they have? Was it last year or the year before that, where they showed off a whole bunch of custom color schemes for like a? This was before the Comet came out. The whole bunch of custom color schemes for like a saber in an ATV. I'm still waiting for that to come out.
Yeah. So, and that's it. That's Richie Reddit and the news we've covered in like literally 2.5 hours. So there was a shit ton of stuff. We haven't even covered Reverse the Verse or ATV.
More to do next week.
I'd say ATV I will bring up right now because this is pretty much what it is. Welcome to Clouds.
Welcome to Clouds.
Welcome to Clouds and welcome to the Coil.
Oh my god, we had to skip over so much of that.
So this is literally just all the video footage of them doing. I mean, when I saw this, I was just blown away. I mean, the frames were chugging. It's really pretty. I can't wait for Clouds. I think when we come into planets, going through Clouds is going to be amazing. They can cheat it a little bit because this is Squadron 42. So,
But the Coil's going to be in Star Citizen as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious to see. I mean,
it's in the Odin system. You can go there and visit it. It's going to be a little different from Squadron 42, but you can go to the Coil and visit it again.
Yeah, so it's...
I would love to find a derelict one of those Shubin stations. Like, I was thinking, like, my current sort of mind thought is you find that star ferret in the Coil and it has a little data pad that says the Subin station was attacked by Vandal or by something, and then you go there and you find it derelict. Maybe not a station that scale because it's like, well, the size change.
Go for swing for the fences, mate. Let's go fucking the big thing. Let's take the organization in there and have to fight xenomorphs, kind of like Warhammer 40K. What's that Warhammer 40K where you have to fight Gene Stealers in Terminator armor? Escapes me. Deathwing.
Deathwing,
yeah. We can do
that.
this.
That sort of thing would be just awesome. As you arrive as a salvaging team, thinking, right, well, this looks like a good haul, and then you think, oh, should we go check out this lead? Because that's what they said missions will be like. It's not just a case of go to A, go to B, go to C, and you're done. It's going to be like, well, this information could lead to something else. If you could just go there, salvage, or you could find a data pad that will lead you to something new or whatever.
I love the light. I love the lightning as well. When I saw this, I thought the lightning. I'd like to see if the lightning's going to do damage. So they showed us. Actually, no, I know it does damage because they showed us it when it hits the ship. The HUD goes all blurry and fuzzy and stuff, which I thought was really cool. So
they say it's dangerous to be in there, didn't they?
Yeah, which I really like. And then I love this. When I saw this when we saw this with the Reclaimer with its lights and the drill bit underneath was spinning away. I think underneath it. I don't know if you can see it in a second. Yeah, I think it might not be HD, but you can. I think I could see it maybe on the HD version. In here, it looks like the drill. I think on a higher def, you can see it was spinning.
I like the fact that inside there they have like crystals. So mining inside that area is probably going to be monetarily like worth it, but dangerous.
Dangerous, which is good, right? That's what you want. The danger versus risk versus reward, right?
No, I'd rather just have it easy and lots of money. Be so
that would be so much easier, right? But I think even if I could make money doing it easy, I'd still want to go to the dangerous places.
Yeah, true. I lied. I don't know why I said that.
By the way, this was dope. This is cool, guys. So everyone knows my hatred for the Gladius HUD.
Oh yes.
When they did the rework was a disaster in my opinion. For taking the best looking HUD and completely fucking up was ridiculous. Now with this on the front, I know it's not perfect, but I'm much happier now because I've got a lot more info. I've suddenly got my HUD back again. I've got more information in front of my screen. I've now got 3 pieces of information plus potentially this 3D radar. I've actually gained in more information, so I'm happier with this already. Much happier.
Still not looking forward to getting blinded by that pea shooter up front.
I hate that.
Firing that thing.
Oh, dude. No, I completely just... But I'll be getting rid of...
You can't tell me you don't like the little pea shooter.
No. But, I mean, when I see this, when I think of all the visual effects that they've got added to this game, and it's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. There's no question about it.
Feat of engineering, isn't it?
They should be so proud of what they're attempting to do and what they're going to give us. It's like it is literally a movie. Look at this. It's a fucking movie. It's incredible. I mean, is this? Yeah, this is a Starfarer, and do you know what we said is that the Reclaimer actually doesn't look as big as I thought. But then it's like, well, that's a Starfarer, and that's huge. So
yeah,
it's actually
it still doesn't look as big as them, but it could be like angle and distance as well.
It's very insectide. It's like an insect kind of coming in to kind of like land on it and kind of
and mate with it. Mate with the dead carcass.
Praying mantis.
I mean, if you look at it, the Reclaimer is like about as wide as 2 Starfarers.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
they've said they're going to have to make the large the double aughts landing pads at Alisar like bigger because of the Reclaimer when it comes in.
I think this is the thing. If they bring this into the persistent, I mean, just look, it's awesome. This reminds me of like when we see Guardians of the Galaxy when they go to that place which had the dead Sentinel kind of thing with the skull and they go into the city. Like I said, if they can do this and then make it populate it with NPCs and have all of this visuals as well, make it feel a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, they're really brings you into it.
That's the scene where I think if it's derelict and you just arrive and you think, right, we need to explore this place, and it's all eerie and dark, and all these systems are off, and you've got to turn it on, and then you hear these little noises, and your mum walks in. Oh, it's even worse. What?
Your mum you start turning it on, you hear all these moanings and cries for help, and it's like, nope, we're out. Like that scene in Event Horizon, where they play the log and like we're leaving.
Yeah. It's like, let's not
never ends well. But already
So,
some of the wrecks now that you walk on and it's all dark and things, it's like if they just added some sound effects and if you knew that there was a chance,
if you knew or you didn't know, like not knowing if they had it in game, but you don't know if it's there or not.
That's what I meant. If you knew that it was in game, because we know it's not in game now, you're not expecting something to jump out of you. But if you knew something was in game, not that it's necessarily on that wreck, it would change the whole sort of way you approach it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I just wouldn't approach it.
Mac, here's the. You probably can't see. I don't know if you can see, but if you've got the stream open, but you can see here on this video very quickly. Firstly, I'm loving this, and I want to see more cloud cities. Disco Lando is going to love that. That's all I'm going to say right now with some cloud cities, which I think look
easier
amazing.
than underwater cities.
Yes. But this, you can see the drill spinning there. There's two. It looks like there's two drills spinning. Either that or it's flickering on the screen, but it looks to me like there's drills spinning on that front massive, whatever that is, that grabs things. And then this is great.
Hard to
we
say.
see the drone. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with. I'm going to say that I think it's the drill bit spinning. But that's just
Was drone gameplay mentioned on the roadmap?
Well, it's part of the Reclaimer, isn't it? The drone room is part of the Reclaimer, so I would imagine it's got to
Reclaimer's
come
got some
right?
drones. The Carrack's got some drones. I can't remember what else has drones off the top of my head.
That doesn't mean you're going to get them straight away just because they've got drones. It's like the Constellation that actually has a Merlin. Did you know?
Yeah, it's been waiting for that thing to detach since 2015.
Exactly. So don't expect drones anytime.
It's the Siamese twin. Is this what it is? It's completely permanently attached.
Yeah.
For 4 years, there's been Scotty in the back, like, sorry, Captain, I just can't do it.
Do you know what I want? Do you know what you're going to do? Is if they actually don't have the ability to take it out, people will be taking their salvage tools to the side of it to try and just manually remove it from the back of the back of their connies. That's what I will definitely be doing. I'll be saying, can I actually do this myself? Can I actually cut it out?
Yeah, cut it out.
And see if cut it out now. But yeah, no. ATV was awesome. I don't know much. I'm not going to bore anyone about volumetric stuff, and I think it did a good job of explaining itself. Really, it was just beautiful, and they're doing a great job. So I applaud them because they've got a lot of hard work to optimize it.
Oh yeah.
So good luck. Keep it up. Really impressed with it.
Good luck.
Good luck, everyone. Does anyone want to comment on it? They thought any highlights for them about ATV this week?
It was nice.
Not really.
Lots, but unless we go into major detail, it's really nice to see. It's nice to it just looks.
These are
amazing.
monthly updates, aren't they?
Yep, should be a month for once a month. We should hear something about Squadron 42. That's what Chris Roberts said.
It's really good.
Wow.
It's really good. So I don't want to know.
Well, if he said it, then we're definitely going to get it twice a year.
It was pretty cool to see the Mark Hamill in the corner there talking and stuff.
Yeah, I liked that little feature where he hasn't got all his makeup and his CGI stuff. It's just his face from the actual shoot.
Yeah,
with all the dots on. Yeah.
And this is like interesting to see the shield, like the new, like I was looking at this HUD going, isn't this the old Gladius cockpit?
Look at the shield display.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Look at this. So I was left. This really confused me. I was like, what? So they're bringing back the old one? Maybe they're still messing around with it. Maybe this is why we've had 3 different versions of the Gladius on this. We've seen 3 different Gladius layouts. We saw the current one that we have now. We've seen this one, and then we've seen another one with a thing on it. So they're still messing with it.
Can we start a petition to CIG just to leave the fucking HUD alone for a little while, so Madness doesn't have to go on about it every week? Just for a little while, 6 months maybe. Give us a half a year break. We can go back to it. It's just
just give it a rest so he can have a rest.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. This is a drone here, right? Is that what we're seeing on the screen?
No, that's the Spider Miner.
That's the Spider Miner.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Looks like a Spider Miner. That's confirmed to be in game. I don't know if it's going to be pilotable.
You'll try and steal it though, won't you?
Oh yes.
Wait a minute, Hamill.
We will try to steal it, and we're going to try to use it to kill somebody. I guarantee you. I wonder if the Orion mining laser can be used to destroy ships.
They did say, didn't they, about the paw and things having, if it has like a damage effect to it or whatever it is, to destroy, like to cut things, then technically it should have an ability. It may not be like a missile or something that's effective, but it's a bit like in Battlefield having the tool that repairs tanks. If you use it against a tool,
because
I
want to be able to fly up to an Idris, clamp on it, and then blow a hole through it with my mining laser.
Yeah.
I just want to. I don't care if it's going to be effective. I just want to.
Well, just imagine you might be able to do that. You might be able to do that in a smaller way with a reclaimer, for example. Could you imagine if you get like a swarm of reclaimers, and you can take the shields down on an Idris, because that's the main thing, or a Polaris or something, and then just swarm it with reclaimers and just start dismantling it whilst it's like alive. The terror on board as the bodies are starting flying out the side.
Jeez, is it getting dark in here?
Darkness, descending. Just descending darkness. So yeah, no, I would love to see that, but obviously you got to get through those shields first, and then you can really get to its hull and start shredding it. Dreams of dreams. Let's bring us back here. I think we should do questions, guys. We've kind of run over.
Let's do some questions.
Chat.
Let's start getting fixed up here.
Let's do questions for a bit. Unless you wanted to go over reverse the verse, is there anything on reverse the verse briefly?
Well,
we kind of
covered it throughout the entire.
There was only.
Go for it. Go for it.
Something about I don't know, just one thing that comes to mind because someone mentioned it in chat, but about the whole Squadron 42 and you playing it, and then that goes across to Star Citizen. So like, it was interesting when they said about you having like a journal. And so the more you do in Squadron 42, it sort of fills in things in your journal. But they're saying that you can kind of carry on playing it alongside while you're playing Star Citizen. But the thing is, it's like it's meant to be set before Star Citizen. So I don't know, what's your thoughts on like the immersion that everybody likes to go on about? Is kind of not going to work, because if you go back into playing Squadron 42, it's going to be before you're playing Star Citizen, and you come back again and your journal's going to be filled up, which it wasn't before.
Yeah, because the time dilation.
Time shift is wrong on it. So it's kind of,
I think it's not. I think they need to still think about it, if I'm being honest. I'm not.
I mean, the principle of it, I quite like the idea, actually. So the more that you do, it fills in journal things. I suppose what they could do is they could kind of imagine that your journal was like your history, and say you had like vague memories of stuff, and it's like almost remembering something from your past.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have sussed into the idea as how they're going to play it out, but they haven't really let on to how, because like you say, it's like 2942 is when it's supposed to take place. We're now in 2948, so I expect it all, because it's obviously going to take place in the time when the Vandal attacked Vega, I believe, or maybe a bit before that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be something you can play side by side. I don't know. It's a good question, though.
I do what I want. I'll play them at whatever I want to.
Okay.
I mean, who reads their in-game journal in Star Citizen, anyways?
Me, if it gives you access to new stuff. It's gonna give you, that was the other thing on RTV, is that they would give you access to so the more you do it, or certain things that you do in Squadron 42 will unlock things in the PU. So you may well do a favor for I don't know, Merchant Guild or something, and then you earn these badges basically. So this badge would give you entrance into the Merchant Guilds in the PU. The same ways for the UAE and different military. I don't know. There's lots of different things basically that you can do, and I think a lot of those are going to be based on side missions within Squadron 42. And then if you complete those, it gives you lots of different areas. So say you might go onto a station, and there might be an area that you just can't get into. But then if you go and do an element in Squadron 42 and help them out, you can then log back into Star Citizen, and then you'll be able to enter it. I mean, immersion-wise, it kind of doesn't really work. But, I mean, a good way to explain it would be sort of getting your memory back, I suppose.
It's a good way of making people play the campaign over and over again, because at the end of the day, you might just play. Normally, I just play a campaign one time. I'm thinking Call of Duty, for example. I played a campaign once. I'm done it. I've unlocked a few things, whatever I need to do, or I've just done it because I wanted to do it normally, and then I would then go into playing multiplayer, and then that's what I play all the time. But with the idea of that you have to unlock specific things within the single campaign, that gives you benefits in the PU, in the persistent universe. I like that. Then you're like, oh, I need to go back and make sure I complete this to give me this gun, which is kind of cool. I'm cool with that. The journal thing,
I mean, like you said, a lot of people choose not to necessarily go for the side missions. They'll just do the main one. So I suppose the fact that you can then go back and it'll update your live account is kind of good. Like you said, you might go, well, actually, no, I want to do this side mission because I find it's more important. And then there might be other ways of unlocking it, but yeah, you can choose whether to do it in the single player or choose to go and do it in the PU somehow.
Yep.
I always thought the idea.
Go for it.
I thought the idea of like maybe having some mission objectives in the single player campaign that may make you friendly with slavers, because they showed that off in the gameplay slice. Maybe your persistent universe character is suddenly now in with the slavers or some drug runners or something.
What if it has the opposite though? If you are in with those, it then stops you from being able to have initial credit with somebody else, so you can't do that mission. I'm curious if they'll do both. They'll swing it both ways, like if you were in other games I've played where if you're dark light, I'm going to use Star Wars, sorry. If you're like light force, you can't interact with certain people, or you can't get them to do certain things if you're a Sith, for example, or if you're vice versa. It'd be interesting to see if they have that level of depth in forcing you to create another character within the game, for example, who can be a good guy, and then they can get all those missions that you couldn't get with your other character, or if it's just going to be you can be whatever you want, you just have to change the reputation over time. That would be interesting as well. Should we do? You go for questions, Miz. If you've got any. If you've got any.
Exclamation mark question in chat if you've got any questions for us. Get them in before we get to the end of them. So let's have a look what we've got. So the first question is from Mr. I think Toot, which is Tootiman, I think, and he is asking everyone, where can I find your Patreon page?
Good question, Miss. Where can we find the Patreon page?
You can find our page. This is like we set it up. No, I didn't.
First question: how can we send you money? Well,
yeah, I like this question. Money. Can you have more of those questions? I don't know. It's Patreon/ASYLUM FWG. There we go. I can put a link in chat as well. Mrs.
currently. Have you finished it, Miz? I think we were finishing it before we did stream, or we were just finishing it up. A surprise.
We've just got to do work on some rewards, but it's finished. Yeah. There you go. Anyway, so we'll move on for that one.
Go and patronize us.
Patronize us is better.
Patronize us.
More like
patronize.
If you like what we do, it's honestly your support, whatever it is, however little or however much you want to do, is great. It's going to enable us to be able to do more things going forward, and we really want to try and push some other stuff as well at you guys. So, definitely hit it up if you like.
We've already been having some support, and we do appreciate it.
Yes, we've had. There's some really great support, which is more than I ever expected. So, thank you so much, everyone that's donated so far, either through subscribing to either me or Miz, donation, whatever it is, even if it's just your time as well to help us with stuff, and like even just being here chatting, that's more than enough. That's wonderful. That's what we do this for.
Amazing.
Really great. Moving on, next question, Miz, go for it.
Next question is from Tutamon again, and it's for Madness, and he says, why is there always a cursor on the screen?
Okay, so I will explain to you very, very quickly. So I only have two extra monitors, and what it is I put the Zoom conversation that we have, which is a web browser, sits behind the XSplit, it sits behind the dbot, and it sits behind my other things on the screen. But the problem is every time I move the mouse over it, see there, Miz has suddenly now got, and that's just me moving the mouse, and I'm moving it over my Discord channel, I'm moving it over the webpage, moving it over our XSplit, but for some reason it's registering the Zoom that's hidden behind, and so I can't. Yeah, that's why I need to try and figure out how to hide it, which I'm going to do immediately after this podcast. How to make sure that immediately so the cursor, and that's the problem. That's why, and I don't necessarily see it because I'm looking at so many different things, and then you guys go, "There's a fucking cursor hovering over me, get alone." But that's why it just sits behind. And if I can't minimize Zoom, if I minimize Zoom, everybody freezes and nobody can do anything. It has to be active in the background. That's the problem. So I need another monitor, basically, is the answer. So I can move Zoom off to the other monitor and then never touch it. We'll never have any problems then. Simple as that. Next question.
The next question is from Anony88, and he asks, what are your views on real money ships going away if they are destroyed with insurance lapsed?
They're not going
They're
away.
not.
No,
Yeah.
you can actually get those ships back by playing. This is what a dev said, that you can actually get those ships back by paying more credits if the insurance lapse on real money purchase ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to lose access to ships if you spent real money on them.
No, they would never going to do that.
You'd have riots.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
And I think that's the right way to do it. If you're paying real money for stuff, and although it's, it's like you're effectively buying it. So
yeah, you're supporting that. Should be 100%.
we did kind of answer it earlier, you're right?
Yeah, we did answer it earlier. If you want to, we can go right back to the beginning.
That's fine. The next question is from the Teenager, and he asks, what made you start streaming? What was your main motivation? Good question.
That's a good question, actually.
Not quite Star Citizen, but that's fine.
I like that question. As we have a partnered person here who's like hit the pinnacles of streaming,
Because he's lazy, that's why.
what would be your answer, Mac?
It was the community. I was a YouTuber originally, and they all said, "Why don't you start streaming?" So I was like, "Fuck it, why not?"
Yeah, why not? Got nothing else to do.
Seems like a good idea.
I got nothing else to do on stream.
Pretty much, yeah. And so I did. There you go. Fucking amazing story. But it was you guys, so thank you.
Oh yeah. I guess I'll go next. My story is a little bit more interesting. I was a mechanic for 10 years. I'm sure I got this. I'm sure I'm going to be the most interesting story here.
You were lying in bed and a baby angel arrived at your door and said to you,
Baby angel.
Baby angel arrived, and then the police started knocking on my door because there was a naked baby angel in my bed. Telling
Stop
me,
streaming. Stop streaming.
You're like, get out of my bed. This looks so weird.
I was a mechanic for 10 years. And I was struggling to make flat rate. I was just too slow. And I promised myself I had a plan B, which was go to work for a union shop. And I was promised myself if this union shop didn't work out for me, I was going to do something fun for myself as my next career, my next vocation, whatever it was, because I was just miserable working as a mechanic. Eventually, I got fired from that job, so I spent a couple months feeling fucking miserable for myself, just be a mopey son of a bitch. And I was like, well, maybe we should try YouTube or something because that people can make money off that. And then I was streaming on YouTube one day, and people were like, well, why are you streaming on YouTube? YouTube sucks. Try Twitch. So I switched over to Twitch, and the community has just been amazing. Like, I had no idea what streaming on Twitch would be like. Like I had when I think of Twitch, I think of sweaty neckbeards like spurging out over video games. But it's actually been really great. I mean, everybody's really passionate about stuff. We tend to run very loose with moderation on my channel, so most people I let just argue and chat about whatever the hell, and eventually they just come to an agreement on some weird stuff. But yeah, it was nothing like I pictured it in my mind. And one day I hope to reach partner. One day.
You reach it one day. Well, it's
That was
easy.
a
All you
lot
have to
more
do is
interesting,
just
to be fair.
it's pretty easy. All you have to
That
do
wasn't
is
that
just
much more interesting.
get load of board gamers videos and put it in the background, and then just sit there for about 3 or 4 hours talking all the time. You'll be fine. Partnership is guaranteed.
Oh, it's an easy life.
If only that was the way to do it. I swear it's not. No, you have to be. You have to genuinely be.
But it is a good alternative,
and time.
to be fair.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you can always give it a try. Board games
Miss-
might not be very happy.
no. If we can try, we should all try. Miz, how did you get into streaming?
Mine was through just watching other Star Citizen streamers a few years back, and helping like Cage Geek and get involved with that, then helping Mac, and just being part of the community. And in the end, it's just nice to be part of the community, get involved with everybody. Like I said, everyone says it. The Star Citizen community is probably some of the best out there compared to some of the other games. And it's just really good to interact with people. And I think being able to like play the game, show it off, help new people into the game, and not just because I do other things as well, but it's streaming but I like to educate, help people where I can, even if I'm not very good myself. So just like the laid back sort of things. Educate people.
Yeah, this is how you break into.
Mostly it's how not to do it, though.
This is how the soft spots you need to shoot them in, and then.
No, I'm not that good. Normally, it's just telling people how not to land their ships and things like that.
I mean, I got into streaming because when I looked at the Star Citizen streamers and I realized that most of them were really ugly, and I thought it really needed to kind of up the sex appeal to the channel for Star Citizen. So I felt that I needed to bring my presence to the world of streaming. To be honest, I did a very brief. The first ever stream I ever did was playing Destiny on my PlayStation, probably many years ago now, and I'd never done it before. And it was kind of weird, and then I never did it again. And then I got into Star Citizen way back with Eve, and I came on and I didn't know anything about the game enough. I wanted to learn more, so I came onto Twitch, and somebody just pointed. I can't remember if someone told me where it was or I stumbled across it or something. And I was like, "What is this medium? It's incredible! Like the people it's just such an awesome immediate like knowledge. You can learn so quick about like games. It was like I could learn." I think it was the PlayStation had the PlayStation Play where you could watch people play the games, and I was like, that's amazing. And then I saw this thing Twitched. It was the same kind of thing but on the computer, and I was like, this is amazing. And because I'm working from home, I felt like it was an opportunity to be able to just talk to other people rather than just talk to the postman that comes now and again. So it was good. And that's it.
But anyways, speaking of sex appeal, there's this pickup line I managed to coin in Star Citizen. So you go up to a gal.
So many choices.
You go up to a gal and you say, "Hey, do your parents work for Drake Interplanetary?" And she says, "No, why? Because you're such a cute lass."
God. Oh my God.
How many times have you tried that on the vast amount of Star Citizen female backers?
Oh my God, guys!
Wow.
Enjoy Vertigo because this is the last time you're going to
see
it.
The premiere and final podcast with HC Vertigo.
HC Vertigo, yeah. It's quite funny. Next question. If we have any more questions, let's keep rocking. If we've got questions, guys, we can go over.
Shit ton. All of a sudden.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Not Drummer Dan. Is the guy on the bottom right a dying child from Make-the-Wish Foundation? Never heard of him. Figured that's why he's on the show.
Oh, when do you stream? You stream probably when UK people are mostly sleeping.
My stream is supposed to start in about an hour.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I'm
We'll try and finish by then for you.
Don't worry. We'll
Okay. Next one.
Well, if you are, we can do what you can do is if you want to jump off, if we're still going a little bit late, if you want to jump off, HC you can, and then go set up, and then we'll host you. How does that sound?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Jolly says, is anyone still actually playing Star Citizen in its current state, and if so, what are they doing? Cargo running.
There is. The community is pretty much dead. Star Marine, you can get maybe 10 people in Star Marine. Arena Commander is impossible to do. The persistent universe is the only thing that's alive right now, and you maybe can get 3 servers with 24 people on it. 24 people on 3 servers that I can find.
Yeah, it's best thing I can say. It's definitely struggling in terms of to just keep the. I mean, I always knew. I'm sorry, but I did always knew when I'm spoken to people who were playing 3.0, they were telling me the information about it, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be boring. It's going to be probably the most boringest patch. So
once the shiny stuff's gone.
Boringest.
Yeah, the boringest.
Okay.
And as I tell people, we're fans, we're not fanboys, and this is the real truth. If you log into Star Citizen right now, you try to get a game of Star Marine going, you're going to be disappointed. If you try to get into the persistent universe and you expect a lot of people is going to be playing with you, we
can keep the hype going now.
We can keep the hype going.
I mean, the reality is that if you want to make really great desktop screensavers, if you want to do cargo running to a degree, and the best thing is you can still enjoy the game with your friends in the multi-cruise ships. You can still have an amazing time. I still have a lot of fun, but it's not the tempo that it was for 2.6 because of the combat loss. If they had kept the combat still in the persistent universe, It would be good. Oh, you got a party hat on. You got...
Next question. It's from the prisoner.
Is that your?
And
Is that Twitch?
for a single player game with an MMO, it's a hassle to group up with a bunch of people together. Will see me better.
I'm sorry, come again. I was a little distracted.
I'm distracted by Mac is got the party hat on and he's just loving it. Have you actually not stopped drinking, Max, since you found out?
He hasn't stopped drinking.
I went out today for my party celebration.
Cover your ears. Don't do it.
Oh, is this?
Oh, they weren't that loud.
And I couldn't get Deepbot working, so I ended up sitting at home,
asking me questions
alone, blowing up a balloon.
And you'll need them for you tomorrow's party stream. Are they even working? They
didn't work anyway, did it?
No, they're working. I can see them.
Because it cost me £1.
What you've got there is you've got 3.3. You should have bought. You bought 3.0. Sorry, poppers rather than the 3.3 poppers.
3 poppers.
That's it. Yeah.
It's still not finished. In development.
Didn't.
Someone please. I need to clip this hat because this is going to become a new emote. The hat with the thing on the top.
With Dumbo ears.
It's just awesome, dude. Oh,
I was
brilliant.
so excited today. And it just...
what's the
But
matter?
to be fair, it was human error that it didn't work. It
was completely my fault for getting the wrong password. Yeah.
What happened?
I spent an hour trying to log into Deepbot because I had to delete it and then reinstall it. And turns out I was trying to log into the wrong account. And then the captcha kept going round and round and round and round and round. Turns out I just got to keep following it round and round and round until I get to the end where it says, keep going until you don't see. Yeah. It's fucking... Anyway,
basically, what he's trying to show you is Mac failed the robot test on
I did.
Deepbot.
I actually failed the robot test.
Human error. Failed the robot test.
Okay,
That means you succeed.
But you're looking beautiful right now, though. You're looking beautiful right now, so that's all that counts.
Well, it's a pink hat. It suits.
You're looking dashing. Hey, Vertical, you were going to say something before Mac.
Was I going to say something? I can't fucking remember what the hell. This pink hat has distracted me too much.
I'm sorry. Bendigo.
Right.
I have been bedazzled.
So am I. What was the question anyway? We've literally gone so far off topic. Mac is completely.
The guy who asked the questions, like, for fuck's sake.
The prisoner said he prefers single-player games, but with an MMO, it's a hassle to group up with a bunch of people. Will SC be better? Yes.
To group.
I don't really know how it will be better, but it will be better.
I hope everything will be better.
Well, if you're grouping with randoms, that's always going to be a mess. But if you're doing like organizations, organizations have already been going pretty strong throughout the development period. So.
I think random encounters could be difficult. Oh, they do seem like they're going to be difficult in this because, I mean, depending on how mechanics come in, but at the moment where everyone seems to want to shoot anybody that's on their ship or shoot anybody that, you feel like you're not going to be trusted. So to try and interact with people is going to be quite difficult.
I call that DayZ syndrome.
It was the same on Sea of Thieves, though. I mean, to be fair, it is a pirate game and you are blowing everybody up. But at the same time, everybody's like, as soon as you see someone, it's like, there's another boat. Boom, open fire, kill the crew.
Steal their shit. It's like literally that's what you do, isn't it? And
it is currently, that's all there is to do in the game. That's the problem. And cargo isn't quite robust enough to steal the attention away. So once the mechanics come in, I think 3.2 is going to be the defining patch to bring new players and to stop, well, not stop, but reduce the amount of PvP. But then I guess there's more things to steal.
I have to be careful because we all use the rhetoric. The 3.0 was going to be the defining patch. That was going to be the one.
True. Yeah, no, it's very true.
And 3.0, like I said, once I was hearing information from people who were playing it, I was pretty quick to be realizing that I don't think it's going to be the patch we wanted it to be. But it's been a lot more. It's even been a bit more disappointing, if I'm being honest, in certain areas.
Yes. But that's the past. You can't go back.
You can't
swing that bill.
Development.
That's the way it is. I still think you can have fun in the game. I mean, I'm still playing it. I still can't stop putting it down, even though I know that it's going to be just a cargo run. I still love putting the game on, listening to some sweet tunes, hanging out with the community. Even if I've get less people in, it doesn't matter if it's. I don't do it. I've never done streaming and this stuff just to get lots of people. I do it because I just love the game. So that's the reason.
Okay,
cool.
Next question is from Brosif. Great name. Did CIG wreck Crytek at lawyering?
Oh, the lawsuit.
We don't know
it
yet.
helps to have a Crytek lawyer on your.
Let's wait to see.
He's going back and forward at the moment, so I think when we get close,
it's going to be in front of a judge to determine. I mean, Crytek makes some good assertions. CIG makes some good assertions. It's going to be a judge, anyways. Yeah, I've watched Leonard French, Mr. French. He's a copyright attorney. He's weighed in with his professional opinion, and he pretty much says it's a mess right now. The whole contract. If you're arguing over the definition of exclusive in your contract, you've messed up your contract.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They both messed up in lawyering in that terms. I think really we're just not going to know until it gets towards the end, and then we'll see. So
yeah, wait and see.
The joke I coined over that one is CIG has to delay the lawsuit long enough for Crytek to run out of money so they can't pay their lawyers, and nobody is better at delaying than CIG.
Yeah, they're patient.
True enough.
That's true.
The thing is, you can keep those things. You can keep those things going on for fucking ages if they've got a way to reply. Though they can do that. They just keep it going on and on.
You can do.
Okay, next question is from Matt White Paint Job, and he says, name all the roles in Star Citizen and organization roles.
What?
Yeah, you'll be here forever.
No, is our answer to that one.
Name all the roles within Star Citizen and their organization roles. There is only one role that counts, really, and that's just pew.
Whatever happens at Fight Club.
Pew.
Days at Fight Club.
Name all the organizations and organization roles. No, there's too many organizations.
Have you seen the picture that somebody made of Squadron 42 logo out of the organizations? Yes. I mean, holy shit, we would take forever. But good try. It would be quite fun to try it one day, though.
I'll tell you what, we'll dedicate a podcast to it.
Will you? That's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is from Nasty B, and it's for Mac. Well, it's not really a question, it's just a suggestion, which is, you're not the only one, Nasty B, but he says, a suggestion for Mac should start a GoFundMe page to get a new pair of headphones and accept the ones he has are almost dead.
They sound perfect. I'm not chucking them away until the sound starts just depleting.
He's
just
waiting to get. You're waiting to do one of those open boxes on someone's to send you some headphones, some company, aren't you? That's what you want to do. Like the mouse that you were rocking on your latest video.
I contacted Seal Series and said, "Can you send me your headphones?" You go, "No, we can send you a mouse." I'm like, "It's fucking fine." I can't do anything with it, but all right.
Go on then. I can't really listen to it, but
I'm like, okay, send me that. But
I have a question for you about the mouse. Will you be keeping the mouse, or would you be suggesting the mouse? Or
I personally, I need to play with it more. I've done my video, and I want to spend a bit more time with it. If you don't know, it's actually the reason why I took on the sponsorship is because it's good. It's actually looks like a decent mouse.
It's quite complicated though.
It's clever, but it could be too much for like. Someone put a comment on that actually said it's kind of overcomplicating one hand rather than spreading it over two with the keyboard, which makes sense because you have a joystick, you have a little balance tilt thing for the whole thing.
People with disabilities, though, if you had only one hand, for example, might be quite useful.
Like Def Leppard drummer, if he decided to pick up Star Citizen, and I mean, to be fair, no, it will benefit somewhere. It just takes a lot of getting used to, and at the moment, I need to work out the smoothing issue and binding for Star Citizen. But it's going to Kickstarter. I literally looked about a few minutes after it started, and they've already reached their initial goal. So I think they wanted 21, they were up to 35. So it looks like it could be. It's got good potential, but it could be overcomplicating things. But I need to play with it a bit more. I'll play with it. I'll try and hook up some of the configs to get the buttons working with Star Citizen, and then do another video and stream and whatnot, and let you know if it's actually any good. But as a HOTAS user, I need to get used to using mouse and keyboard really to say if it's any better than using a standard mouse.
All right, I got one more question, then I got to get going.
All right, mate.
Oh, we thought you were going to ask a question.
No.
Yeah, I was sorry.
The next one.
It did sound a bit like you were going to ask a question. But he's got one,
Matt
your
White
answer.
paid job, and he's basically saying we've kind of answered this. Well, sort of. Do you think Squadron 42 might change to the present time so that you can play the game? You can be called back to the military for some reason. He's put a lot of extra on there, and there's not really much point me reading out because they've already said, like, they confirmed that they're not going to do that. It's going to be before Star Citizen, but you can go back and play it. So you can be playing Star Citizen, but you're not going to be able to be pulled back.
They said that if you go through Squadron 42 and you get your citizenship, then you'll have entry to certain other areas. Whereas if you hadn't, you wouldn't have entry into citizenship areas. But on the same token, if you have your citizenship, you may not be welcome into certain areas where pirates or people who don't care for the UEE. So it's kind of the swings and roundabouts, and there will be a balance between it. But ultimately, it depends on do you want to play.
It'll affect it. So almost technically, like you're playing it at a different time zone, like the same time zone, but it's not. It's still going to be before Star Citizen, but you can still unlock things available now. So I suppose in some ways it's kind of.
Also consider that Squadron 42 is going to be the first part in a 3-part trilogy, depending on how well Squadron 42 does. So you may have, whatever the third game in the series is, maybe much closer to the Star Citizen timeline.
True. It might catch up to a point.
Yeah, I think you may end up getting the situation. I mean, who knows, where as part of a new DLC pack, you get called up and called back into to do whatever. So
but anyways, that's going to be it for me. I got to get going.
Yes. All right then. Thank you very much, Hates. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. How many more questions do we have?
5 more.
Okay, so we'll
I
do a
can
quick
look at that, so we don't go for any more.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit late on streaming, so if anyone who's going to be watching me, but in about 45 minutes, I should be up. I need to get some dinner. I'm getting real hungry here. But we'll see you all later.
Go.
Thanks,
Thank you
for
coming. Appreciate that, mate. No, thank you for taking the time. And we will carry on. We will carry on. Let me.
Okay. Next question is from Matt again, and he says, "Favorite ship." Haven't you asked us this before?
Reclaimer.
Madness.
As in overall?
Favorite ship.
Favorite
Cutlass.
ship.
Cutlass black at the moment. Or Cutlass blue, depending on whichever Cutlass it comes in, but Cutlass is my favorite ship.
At the moment, I don't. In the future, I don't know, because I still haven't found the one that I really want, that I'm happy with.
You're still trying to find the one.
Still trying to find the one, but at the moment, I don't know. Like I quite like the space bikes. I don't know if you would count them as a ship. They don't necessarily perform brilliantly, but they are. I do like the Dragonfly a lot.
Yeah,
Dragonfly is a cool one.
Yeah. Next question is role aimed in the verse. I think it means what you want to do in the verse.
Salvaging.
Smuggling. Shh. Madness. He doesn't know. Oh, he doesn't know. He said bounty hunter, but he doesn't really know.
Farming, bounty hunting. Farming first, fishing, farming.
What about farming bounty hunters? So growing
farming bounty hunters. That would be quite nice. That would be quite fun.
Bounty hunter pots.
That would be like Blade Runner then, wouldn't I? Really, it'd be like Mr. Wallace or the Tyrell Corporation, growing my own sentient beings. That would be kind of freaking dope. Like growing AI humans. I love that idea.
Yeah,
love that idea. Yeah, man. That would be really cool. Having a really cool building and like smoking hot robot assassin that works with me. I'm down with that. Down with that idea, Mac. Backfired, didn't it? Then you thought you were being clever. Completely turned into something.
I was being clever, yeah. But I agree. I think it would be cool. It's a bit like the Matrix, where they farm all the people and then it unplug them. They're all bounty hunters that can go around killing people. Or
Blade Runners.
Yeah, there you go.
Blade Runners.
So.
Next question.
The next question is
meant to be quick fire.
from Matt. That's a surprise. I don't even know. Anyway, I don't really think we can answer this. But how would you organize an organization?
With my organizing skills.
I'd get
with an organizer. There you go.
Piece of paper. Yeah.
I'd get somebody else to do it. That's how I'd organize.
Or Max getting somebody else to do it. Madness's idea is getting somebody else to do it.
With a better organization management thing that they're bringing out later. I think there's still a lot of work to be done, isn't there, for the organization side?
And in a more serious answer to that, I would say, I don't know about necessarily organizing it, but I would say that if you want an organization that's going to work on properly, I would suggest not just like lots of people just start one up and think, I'm going to get loads of people, and you've got loads of these 1 and 2 player orgs that just don't do anything. They're not helping themselves and not helping other people. And I think if you can get involved in like a community or like following like Mac on his stream, and you're getting a bigger organization that way or whatever, then that sometimes it's better to be part of an organization and help them form one rather than just keep making ones for yourself. But I don't know. There's lots of people that it always used to happen in like MMOs and stuff. Like instead of making other guilds stronger, people just keep making their own, and you've just got tons of these 1 or 2 member guilds, and they're all. And instead of like if you've got like a good group of people to start off with, then that's a good basis to start an organization from. But I think you're just trying to do it on your own and then just inviting people randomly, it's not going to work. So I don't know if that really helps your question, but
I mean, for me, the biggest thing I've always had with orgs, from Eve to Guild Wars to whatever else, it's recruitment, and the consistency of continuing to keep bringing in new people. Often the number of times I see old cliques of people stay together for ages, and then 1 or 2 people start to disappear, and then the orgs kind of die because they just these cliques they get too wrapped up in shit and in themselves and in their small numbers, and it tends to just fall away slowly over time. You have to keep constantly recruiting, getting more people in, keeping it fresh, growing that way. For me, that's just my view on it.
Yeah, and Matt, saying that you've got like friends that you're making play the game, so you're going to make your org with that. The thing you've got to be careful with that is what Maddox is saying there, is forming a clique, because your friends will automatically know each other. You will ultimately talk to them, group with them first, and then that can easily create a sort of segregation within your organization, because you always go to your friends first. So that is definitely something you have to watch out for, and make sure you're trying to incorporate everybody, not just the ones that you know. Because people quite easily get left out.
And that's what happens is when orgs split, they always split exactly to the cliques, is the way out. There's 1 or 2 people who kind of like both sides, but usually they split to the cliques. They split to the, like I think when I was at Up in Smoke UINS, you had the original group of guys who were UINS, then you had the second generation of UNIS guys who were there, and it was literally the old people left, and then the new people took over, and then those people then had their own little cliques, and then it divided again, and then before you know it, UINS has got like 3 people left, and there's a whole other organization that started with a whole group of cool people. So that's my experience anyway from orgs. That's what tends to happen. The cliques get too clicky and they get divided up.
Do you know, I'm really looking forward to doing some like org training, planet side and in ships, and having just scenarios, because especially when persistence isn't too much of a problem, hopefully we'll get more people into the game in one instance, and you can get groups working together and trying out new game systems. And that's, I mean, even just in beta or alpha or whatever, it's good camaraderie and it's good for bond building with people that you don't know. Like, obviously, my org is made up of you guys, so it's kind of people who know each other through the streams and things, rather than being friends or like originally. You all talk, and I think that's just there's a lot coming down the line for orgs. We haven't really been specified as to what, but it should help controlling them, running them a lot easier, and helping getting people together a lot quicker as well. Excited for that.
Cool.
Next question. Do you think game creators will make games to be in Star Citizen? No. I mean, there may be mini games in Star Citizen, which we've already kind of got, but I don't think you're going to get other game creators creating games to go in it.
No, it may be modded to a point, like someone mods a game and then starts
how
it.
good
Like,
it is.
okay.
Depends how good the mod is. No one rule it out. Never rule it out. Look at the guy who created
Top-down Dragonfly thing. That was pretty cool.
That's a cool game. Don't rule it out. I think if the game's worth it, I don't see why not. I think, I mean, Armour, for example, Armour 3, the guy who created the Battle Royale, he's ended up going off to create his own game, but he built pretty much the Battle Royale format that we know and love, at the moment. So I think all the better. Chris loves modding. He loves to engage and to encourage it. From all the interviews he's ever spoke about modding and the modding community, they really, they're quite open.
Yeah.
So
and I think it's
the problem with adding it to the Star Citizen, though, like the official one, is it's got to go through a hell of a lot of checks and tests and everything else. It depends whether they have the time to implement it. I suppose it's possible, whether they would do it.
It's
they
about
will allow on their own
people to do it, wouldn't it? Yeah, they've got to. They've got to invest money into people to be employed to screen people's mods.
Yeah,
I think I could see it working for, say, something for example like Arena Commander. The way that they did it with Armour and the way that they created a battle royale situation. I don't see it's. You could potentially have people have the ability to create game modes and things.
Yeah, but that wouldn't. You see what I mean? That I wouldn't necessarily put in Star Citizen because they would have to vet it more. Whereas they said they're going to allow us to have mods and mod their own servers and stuff, yes, but actually into the official game, I'm not so sure.
It will be a mixture, won't it? It'll be like, obviously, if it's the sort of thing that wouldn't make any sense being in the main persistent universe, then they just wouldn't allow you to put it in. But it could still exist in like a private server, which has no influence on the main persistent universe. But I think like mini games like the Prisoner says Vanguard Force. If someone comes up with something that CIG like and it's sort of spotlighted, they may be like, okay, no, that's cool. We'll put that in as an arcade game. There's no reason why if they have something like Vanguard Force, and there's another game in Grim Hex that's there, isn't there, where you meet Ruto, or is that Vanguard Force? So it's a bit like Shenmue. They have games in games, potentially, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's
like we were saying. It's like we were saying on the stream earlier. I'm happy with them putting advertising in the game for like brands that we know and love, like things like Nike and Adidas and Coca-Cola, and
I would love to see those big brands in gaming.
Yeah, I'm happy to see them. I don't not want them. I don't want them to be like I said. Excuse me. It's coming. No, it's not coming. It's gone away again.
That's what she said.
God.
I don't know what
I don't, as long as I don't get like a stupid like a YouTube advert or something, do you know what I mean? Like popping up on my bloody every time I lift up my Moby Glass, I get like a freaking advert from like Nike
straight away.
Yeah, it'd be like,
I agree. Yeah,
but I would love the idea of having adverts in the game.
Yeah, on the side of like a whole sea or massive advertisement banners and city things.
Here's an interesting question then, although we shouldn't go off the tangent too much, but if you had owned a whole sea and they did implement, say, real-world advertising like Coca-Cola, would you get paid for putting that on the side of your whole sea?
They spoke about earning in that way, but I don't think it means real money. It'll most likely mean USD.
Well, they could pay you with credits, though.
Yeah, like, no, they did say that that's
that would be
part
cool.
of the plan. Yeah.
I mean, they might do it with their own, obviously, their own fake Big Benny's Coca-Cola or something like that,
Oh, then you could get partnered by Coca-Cola within the game.
Yeah, could you
if your flying's not good enough, they don't want to be represented by you.
Nike space shoes. You get your Nike space shoes. Makes you jump higher on moons and stuff. Now, I mean, it's an open world possibility with Intel, with the AMD. They're already doing it for spaceships, exclusive spaceships. So I don't see why they couldn't open up the opportunity, with real life and stuff, to be able to bring in stuff. As long as it doesn't get too clusterfucky, but I mean, I'm all for it personally. I think it adds to the more in-depth immersion of the game to have a little bit of some brands that we, new brands, and also brands that could potentially have survived in another 2,000 years or whatever, 100 years or whatever.
Well, it's like what he says. They don't want to do something that is too unrealistic to us, like designing something that we can't recognize as being realistic. So having brands like Coca-Cola, which, to be honest, could fucking stand the test of 900 years, having brands like that, Amazon, other brands like this, there's no reason why we wouldn't likely see them, and I think it would establish more of an authentic feel to the verse and a bit more of a. Well, I don't know. The one in like Blade Runner, yeah, they had some.
Yeah, they do it. They do. They do Sony and other things.
And it's just, I feel like if you see adverts that you recognise, it draws you into that world more.
Yeah.
Because it's giving you familiarity, whereas if everything's custom-made brands, that brand doesn't really mean anything to you.
Yeah, you don't connect with it, do you?
Yeah. So it's you just flashing light on the side, whereas if you see something you notice, you look at it and go, oh, now I know that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of copywriting and there's a lot of legal haggling that would have to go on and stuff like that. But I think if they could get the teams together, because they do exist, the digital teams for a lot of these brands, at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's a win-win for everybody, potentially. So yeah, I'd love to see that in game. Sorry, a little bit off topic then on that question.
Okay, next question is from Matt again. Do you think there will be a better update for Star Citizen than 3.0? Because some of you said 3.0 would be the best one for Star Citizen. We kind of covered that already. Yeah. There will be better updates, obviously. The one where it says, it's now available for you all to play. It's live. That will be the best patch.
Wait. The one which has got the most mechanics. The one that's got mechanics in the game that are beside
the final one. That's the best patch.
The beta patch.
Okay, last question. Will all chapters be out before Star Citizen is out, so that it feels fluid for the timing?
I doubt it.
They've already said no.
Yeah,
I think.
We were supposed to get. I mean, they've written the whole 3 chapters, haven't they? They're just not.
Yeah.
Got on with it. No.
I can't remember if it was actually one of them. They said that they are doing they've done the motion capture and everything for the first one. The second one, they haven't even started that, but they're going to do the motion capture, and I think they're going to do it at the same time for both 2 and 3. Because the rest of the mechanics are kind of be done with the first one, like the animation, the hard mechanics side of things will be done. So.
I would say never say never. I mean, there's always the chance. At the end of the day, the longer this game development goes for Star Citizen, the greater chance that they could get through the chapters, and have them ready. So we could get to, if Star Citizen PU takes ages.
You be in the flipping flip of the coin today?
Oh, check me out. A bit more wiser in my ears. Wiser in my ears.
Wise man say never say never.
It's the chair.
It's
the chair. It's the chair. It's just zenning me. I'm no longer bouncing around on a painful wooden chair. I'm now in luxury. So I'm just like, relaxed. All relaxed now. Nice. Any more questions, Miz? Any more questions?
That's all of them. We'll leave it at that. I think it's late enough.
That's a good place. We've been going on for quite a while. I don't think HC's on, unfortunately, just yet. So who shall we host, boys and girls? I think Board gave us a host earlier. He dropped us a host.
No, he's not streaming because he's been streaming all day. So
I got a host from him an hour ago to say Board Gamer has hosted you with 56.
That was probably an accidental auto host when he changed game or something.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't think so.
Gotcha.
I have a question. Well, if you ask it quickly while we do the goodbyes, we may answer it. But while Man is looking for
go for it, Cal. Just put it
someone to host. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with us as always. Be sure to make sure you go and give Mr. Mac here a follow if you haven't already, which you probably have. And also don't forget to go and give HC Vertigo our special guest today. Go and give him a follow as well. Is it !podcast or something? Are they in there, them links? Otherwise, they've been shouted out constantly, so just go and give them a follow. Otherwise, as always, it's been a pleasure. We are going to be putting up the podcast on YouTube afterwards tomorrow. Hopefully at some time you'll see it on the Asylum YouTube channel. We've not run out of questions, it's fine. For God's sake.
Happy birthday, by the way, Nasty, for now, because it should be your birthday, right? So happy birthday.
Yay, happy birthday, Nasty. We literally made it stay on longer just so we could have a drink with you. So happy birthday.
Cheers. Cheers, matey. Let me just pour my vodka.
Vodka slur.
Yeah.
Fucking drinking slur straight from the bottle, you menace.
Slur from the bottle.
Let me just.
Anything else you want to say, Madness?
No, just throw us all
for
the
the
money that you
follows.
can spare, really. So that
Throw
we
us all the
can,
money. Yeah.
Throw us all the money and the love. And
Quick,
Make
go
it
to our
rain.
Patreon page.
Make
Oh, and
it
also
rain. Go to the Patreon.
underneath on the stream, there's merchandise if you want to buy some
Yeah.
T-shirts.
I'm modelling some T-shirts for Madness's channel. We have some Asylum T-shirts as well, which I couldn't find.
Why am I not on there yet?
Mia Miz is going to be on there as well.
We've got some Asylum stuff.
Go get yourself some
What's everybody
goodies.
do this week? That's another thing.
Yeah, go for it. You go whilst I figure out who we're going to post.
Mac, what are you up to this week? When you get your SSD drive working?
I tried to stream today. I apologize for those who were waiting for it. It just fucked up, and I spent an hour trying to get it working, and it was my fault. But this was
not the point.
OBS. No, I will be streaming tomorrow, kind of having a mini party, playing a bit of Star Citizen, playing some other games maybe. Now that I've got partners, so I don't have to worry about the numbers as such. Yeah, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday should be streaming as well. Trying to get Star Citizen Sunday done. I realize it's going to be Tuesday tomorrow, which is delayed. But also continuing the videos of the new starter series for those who don't know how to do the simple tasks of starting a ship, because it's so simple from here. Also 3.2, 3.3, all covering the roadmap and just generally fucking about, basically. Other than that, I don't think I've got much else going on. Lots of giveaways for February, though. That'll be happening. And the Banu Merchantman giveaway will end tomorrow. So make sure you check that out. Hello Kitty Online, indeed. Yeah. That's the next one I've got to invest in.
Yeah. And for me, I don't know if I'm going to be doing... So my missus has been in hospital, so that's why I haven't been streaming very much at the moment. So I'm looking after her. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll be doing my paint Platinum roll Tuesday night, depending on how tired I am. But Friday's D&D session will be going ahead. We missed it last week, so we will be doing it this week. So that'll be good. So if anybody that's interested in D&D, come and join me on my channel. There's 7 of us. We go and do some adventuring. And if you're not into D&D, go and watch Critical Role and find out what it's about, and then you probably will be into D&D. It's good fun. We're not like them, but we're working on it.
We'll get there.
And Madness has really died a few times, so it's a good place to go and watch Madness get squashed.
Yeah. I do die. I try to do dramatic things.
8:30 UK time. That's me for the week.
Yeah, and I will. My plan for this week is with work. It's all depending on work related, but hopefully I'm going to try and get a YouTube video sorted, or at least get a script written for something for YouTube. I've been saying this for months. I need to get one done. I tried it the other day, and I spent easily 20 minutes to an hour of just literally saying hello and welcome to the Asylum, because I was not happy with the way that I said it and the introduction. So. And every time it got worse and worse and worse, and it was like, I don't know what's happening. Why is this getting worse every time I introduce? And it was like my voice would go up and be like, "Hello and welcome," and I was like, "Okay, let's chill. Hello and welcome to this."
Hello.
And then it was like, then it wasn't natural,
hello.
And then it was like, "Hello." It was just awful.
Hi.
So, and then I was trying to read, and I was trying to read my notes, and then I would get confused, and then it was. So anyone that does YouTube, I really do have massive respect, because. Oh, you guys, I don't know how you do it so quickly.
It takes an hour just to say hello. I've been doing it for about a year now, just trying to say hello.
I'm like, how do you do it? Like, it's literally the news comes out, and then literally like a couple hours later, or an hour later, or 30 minutes later, there's suddenly a YouTube video in it. I'm like, how? I can barely say hello. So, yeah, I'm practicing. So that's what I want to try and do. And then Stout and Sturdy on Friday with Ms. D&D, and we'll probably try and do some more, playing some other games, like what I think we're on our Patreon. We're going to call it Let's Play. So we'll try and get we'll play, or maybe we'll get some people from the community as well that we kind of know who want to come and play a different game, and it's a multiplayer, and we'll just play it, record it, and then maybe do a review at the end, and then upload it to YouTube, our YouTube channel. So we're very much trying to play around with some stuff. So that's it, really. And you can find me here, as you're already here.
Funnily enough. Who
Everywhere else, a little bit of madness. Red Lear, because we raided the few last week. So I will, unless anyone's got anything.
No, that's fine. Well, when you raid, we've got about 10 minutes.
And I think he's pushing for partnered as well. So I'm all about helping people who want that. Because I mean, we're all pushing for partner in our own little way, but you know, I think we should give him a rate. So thank you, everybody. We love you all. We'll see you again this time if you're interested in Star Citizen only. We'll see you here. I'll be streaming Star Citizen, so
don't forget to spread the word. That also helps us a lot. Get
yes,
more
please
people to come
tell
and
your
watch
friends.
us.
Red Lear is partner.
Is he?
Yeah, we know. Shh, don't tell
Yeah.
Matt this. Don't burst his bubble.
I thought he was pushing for partner. Did he get it recently? Did he?
Yeah, he got it about 2 weeks ago, I think.
Did he? So I'm paying attention. Never mind. Never mind.
Still, though, helping's good.
Still, the helping among partners is good. Right, hang on. Let me go to channel. Thank you, Mac. You know, Cray's joining us next week for the podcast.
Yes, yeah. I'll drop him with you. Sorry, I thought we were still live then. It's weird.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't be. I hope not.
No,
We got the Cray Ray.
yeah, he's